Joe Rogan Podcast. Check it out.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Train by day, Joe Rogan Podcast by night, all day.
And we're up. Whew. All day I've been trying to recover from yesterday, drinking with Stanhope.
Oh, yeah. He's a fun one to hang out with, huh?
We did a podcast like right when he was coming out of the pandemic, and I think I was probably sober or mostly sober during the podcast, and it just felt off. It felt clunky, and he felt like that too. So I'm like, this one, I'm going to make sure we do it right. And I just got blasted with him. We just drank whiskey and got fucked up and talked for like, how long was it? 3.5 hours.
Wow.
And a couple of pee breaks and just obliterated. I don't remember half what we talked about.
He's so fun.
Yeah.
Last night was incredible.
Last night was insane.
Yeah.
Let's tell everybody you're going to be in Phoenix this weekend at Stand Up Live, which is an awesome club. And maybe I'll drop in on Friday because I'm going to be there for the UFC.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
Let's have some fun.
We'll have some fun. The great and powerful William Montgomery will be there as well. Mm-hmm. And then last night, we do a show at Vulcan, and who goes on stage with us but motherfucking Roseanne Barr.
Wow. What a clinic.
She hadn't been on stage in years. And
she killed just as hard as anybody.
God,
what
the round of applause she got when she went up there.
Natural freak talent. Killing the whole time. Getting little tiny standing ovations throughout. Totally like the way she moved, the way she talked, her pacing, her timing felt so natural and conversational.
But she wasn't even planning on going up.
Yeah.
This is what's crazy. Like, she hadn't gone on stage in years. And she did it. And then afterwards, she felt fucking great. She was hanging out in the green room. She was all fired up.
Yeah.
And she's like, I want to fucking move here.
Yeah. She's the best. She belongs here. She's the vibe.
Yeah. Well, her daughter lives here. So I think we got a real good shot at getting her here.
I hope so.
Oh, my God.
She is, I mean.
Last night was special.
It really was.
Doug Stanhope, Ron White, you, Hans Kim, Roseanne Barr, and me.
Yep.
What a fucking lineup. What a fucking lineup.
So fun. Hey, you want to know something funny about this picture? You see that bottle that Stanhope has of mineral water? Well, there's cigarettes in there. You see that?
Yes.
A few minutes after this picture was taken, he took a huge gulp of that, forgetting that it was an ashtray. And he handled it so funny. He made sure everybody knew, and he made a funny face. And, like, he really milked it like a real comedian.
We found out yesterday that Stanhope had COVID, and he never even knew. He goes, I've been dealing with COVID-like symptoms for the last 30 years. That's 30 years of being hungover. 30 years of being hammered mostly every day.
The rare breed. You know how many comedians fail because he drinks on stage? There's so many comedians that think they can drink on stage and do good because of him.
Or they could be like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. But they don't have a point.
Right.
Like, he writes. The thing about Doug Stanhope is Doug Stanhope may be a guy who loves to drink. He is. Well, fuck, maybe. He's a guy who loves to drink.
Yeah.
But he also loves to write. He writes a lot. He's got a laptop, sits down with it. He makes notes, drinks coffee, smokes cigarettes, writes. He is dedicated to being a comic and a writer. He writes. And that's a lot of the guys that go on tour and try to emulate that thing. They leave out part of it. They leave out that part, you know. I've been into this audiobook by Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art. I just finished it, and now I'm on his other book that he has that's a similar sort of vein. It's called Turning Pro. But one of the things in Turning Pro, it's like talking about the things that people do to distract them from the work. And that one of the things they'll do is that a lot of people who they romanticize the lifestyle of being like a rock and roll star, right? Out on the road, but they're doing the drugs and, you know, they're boozing and partying. That's like part of the lifestyle. But what they're not doing is the writing. They're not doing the work. They're not being a pro. They're just distracting themselves with the nonsense aspects of it, the partying aspects of it, not the getting better at the art form aspects of it.
Right.
Stanhope has a good balance. He writes a lot. Like, he, you know, you see him and he's got points. There'll be something new about, you know, anything that's going on that's pertinent, that's in the news. He's got new bits.
Yeah. That's sort of what you're saying sort of reminds me of Dave Attell, who, I feel like amongst comedians is considered one of the best in the world right now.
Well, the best of all time.
Yeah. And, he was the party guy forever.
Yeah.
Right? The insomniac, going out, up everywhere. And I remember, well, first of all, he's sober now, but I remember when I got to work at the Comedy Store, when I started working there 15 years ago, I was also working to make extra money at a coffee shop right next to it. And I would work really, really, really early mornings, like this 6 a.m. to 11 a.m. shift, because then I would go work phones at the Comedy Store all day and then at the Comedy Store at night. So I was just working all day. Anyway, there was a lot of times where I would be at the Comedy Store until 2:30 a.m. and Attell, if he was visiting from New York, would be there, watching or going up or hanging out or both. And I would work these shifts 4 hours later at Starbucks, and he would be there reading the newspaper with a notebook, like literally grinding and grueling out the work, not on his cell phone reading, like absorbing actual paper, reading material and kicking out writing immediately, like someone who's about to start, not like someone who's a 20, 30-year veteran of the game. And he takes it that seriously, and it shows continuously throughout his work. Everybody that is great is doing the work.
Yeah, there's no substitute. There's no substitute in the universe rewards you. Like life rewards you for the amount of effort you put into something. The amount of attention and focus you put into something will be represented in how good you get at it. It doesn't mean that everybody starts from the same place. Some people have more natural talent. Some people have more natural insight. Some people are just funnier when they start. But it is really about the amount of time and focus you put in and how much better you get. There's a lot of people that have like maybe a natural personality for stand-up, but they're lazy and they don't get much better because they don't write. And so they kind of develop this sort of passable act and never really improve upon it because they don't spend the time doing it. Whereas someone who wasn't as good as them initially will be far better than them at the end.
Yeah.
It's just time. It's time and focus. I think that would apply to everything. I think it'd apply to fucking playing a guitar or writing books or whatever the fuck you're doing. It's time and effort. Time and effort, and there's no substitute for those things. And thinking and being, really thinking, like being honest about what you're doing. Looking at it and go, God, is this good? Like, let me look at this again. Let me look at this with fresh eyes. Let me go walk around the block and think about it, That's part of it, too. One of the things that Pressfield talked about is also something that Stephen King would talk about, is that he would write and then he would go for walks after the writing, which is very common amongst writers. They like to go for walks afterwards and review the notes in their head. And Pressfield would take a little recorder with him, but obviously you can use your phone, and just use the voice memos and just talk into your phone and say, I have this thing about page 5. I feel like this is off, or chapter 6 is, a little flat. Maybe this is a new solution.
Yeah, walking helps a lot, no doubt. It's one of those things that we would do in the writer's room, a bunch of sloppy, lazy bum writers in the roast writers room we would have to take a break because the blood just circulates around your head all day, and then after 4 or 5 hours, especially after lunch, you have to get the things rolling again. So yeah, it changes perspective, but most importantly, it just really gets the blood flowing.
Especially after lunch if you're eating bread.
Yeah.
Guys who eat sandwiches, like big sub sandwiches for lunch, they're useless after lunch.
It's so true. And I remember we used to literally order from a place called, I don't know if it still exists in LA, but it was called It's All About the Bread. And it was the thickest, because it was Jeff Ross's show basically in his office. And we know, like anybody that knows anything about Jeff knows he doesn't give a fuck about what he eats. Like he's always smashing food. He has the fastest metabolism out of anybody in the world.
How's that possible?
I don't know.
But he's so big.
He's big. That goes to show you how much he eats. I mean, the man is always snacking on something.
Really?
Yeah. He just burns it by whatever, thinking all the time or whatever's going on. But, so there was just no like, let's eat something healthy today. Like, he doesn't give a fuck. So we used to order from this place. It's all about the bread, and we would all crash so hard. We would have to drink 7 cups of coffee to even come back from it. But it was like a drug. It was like doing like bread heroin or something in the afternoon time.
Yeah, sandwiches are the worst for that.
Yeah.
Like a big sub sandwich, because you think about, like, when do you ever eat a piece of bread that big?
Right.
Never. And then a piece of bread that big, stuffed with meat and cheese and fucking mayonnaise.
And this was
shit.
like a baguette. I remember the exterior was hard. It was like very textured, like tough, and tons of bread in between the starting point and that hard outer shell.
So your body has to break all that down. It's just glue in your stomach, just clogging up your brain.
But meanwhile, if Jeff eats something like that, he turns into like the Incredible Hulk for like 25 minutes after that. Like everybody's just dying of laughter about anything, whatever happens. He's a special guy.
So he's just gets excited about the food, and that makes him happy, and then he's funnier.
100%. Yeah.
Stanhope and I were talking about this yesterday because Stanhope had no idea that he had COVID. We were talking about this. I remember in like the brief flashes that I can remember of our drunken conversation. I was like, I wonder how much of a factor stress plays into people getting sick. Because how is he okay? Stanhope chain smokes, drinks constantly.
Yeah.
He's basically my age, a couple months older than me. And nothing's wrong with him. Allegedly. Hasn't been to a doctor in years.
Yeah.
Like, in forever. He goes, why would you go? They just fucking give you bad news. And he goes, just fucking live until it breaks. That's like his thought process. Just live until his body breaks.
It was interesting watching him go face to face with Ron White last night. And the first thing that Ron said to him was, Doug, I'm sorry. I couldn't fight the fight anymore for us drunks. Like he was like apologizing to Doug for having to back out of the game. You know, Ron, after 50 years of daily tequila drinking, is like, well, I wish I could still be in the fight with you, my friend.
Meanwhile, here's the thing. Like, just like Dave Attell, Ron White is better than ever.
Yeah.
Ron White is on fire right now. And I've never seen, like, he's always been a great comic, but I've never seen him better. And I think the same about Dave Attell. Dave Attell, when he stopped drinking, like, I remember his boozing days. He was always great, but he's better now. He's better now. And there's a thing where, like, people think that the booze is what helps them. It makes them loose and it makes them relaxed. And yeah, I mean, it could kind of help a little bit. It can get you loose. It can, but not if it's a problem. Not if it's an alcohol problem. Not if, like, you need to drink all the time or you need to be drunk for you to be able to go on stage. None of those things are good. And the thing is about it wrecks your fucking body, man. It wrecks your body. It takes away all of your vitality. And so when it takes away your vitality, your energy to create is like, it's compromised. Your energy to just live life and to have inspired thoughts, you're fucking hurting all the time, which is even more impressive how Stanhope and Ron White were so good for all those years.
Yeah, it sort of goes both ways. I feel like there's almost kind of an art, and we see this, right, with a lot of these guys, that I think there's almost something to the art of getting wasted and laying in bed the next day thinking about what's next. I'm not positive of what Chappelle's writing process is at all, but I have a feeling that he's thinking about stuff while recovering the next morning, because when else would he do it? And by morning, I mean basically afternoon, right? Because he goes hard in the paint. He has a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And, we see it on stage all the time. At the Comedy Store, he would, just plow through bottles of Corona, another Corona, another Corona, another Corona, and he stays in the zone. He's hilarious. But obviously, he's not coming up with this stuff right off the top of his head in the moment. The magician always has his stuff set up.
Right.
So, like, there's almost something to it. And I'd be interested to know, maybe you know what Doug's process is, but it seems like laying in bed that next morning with a hangover and thinking of something that really stands out to you might sort of be good for that art form. Because if you can make it funny then, if you could think about it then with a headache and your body's sore and you don't want to get out of bed, then it must be funny, right? Does that kind of make sense?
Kind of. What Doug does, one of the things that Doug does is his podcast. And Doug's podcast is basically, I mean, occasionally he has guests on, but oftentimes it's just him and his buddies, right? So they're all hanging around the house, and they have, they're at the fun house, and they have the setup there. And it's basically Doug holding court, talking about things. And in a similar vein to the way Bill Burr creates on his podcast, because Bill Burr is one of the most prolific comics, and I'm pretty sure the way he writes is he thinks about stuff, he has things that piss him off, and then he goes on his podcast and rants about them. And in that ranting, the constant ranting, he creates these things that are like, oh, there's like a glimmer of light in that. There's like a beacon of hope in this bit. Let me turn that into an actual routine. And then I've seen him on stage, and I've seen stuff that I've listened to him talk about on his podcast. He then brings to the stage, and he refines it, and he makes it better.
Yeah, he's incredible. I once made an interesting rookie mistake when I was, back when I was a door guy at the store. I had never spoken with him before, really, and I had never said anything to him, and he said hi to me one night after he performed on stage, and it absolutely killed so hard. I can't remember what the news story was at the time, but something had just happened days earlier, and he was killing for 10 minutes about it. And he came up and he said hi as I'm on the stool on his way to his car in the parking lot. I'm working the back door. And since he said hi to me, I decided to engage. And I said something like, hey, man, I just want to let you know that was amazing up there. It's crazy how easily you could take something that just happened and kill with it like that. And he goes, easy. I'm like, yeah. He goes, there's nothing easy about that. I've been writing every day since that happened for the last 3 days. From 9 to 4 p.m., I've been writing. So while you've been doing whatever you've been doing, like, nothing is easy. There's nothing easy about it. I sat down and I wrote all that. Like, he taught me an amazing lesson. It was really cool. I was just trying to give him this compliment, and instead he gave me, a really, really great insight on how that world works. And you see it with The Last Dance, Jordan practicing all the time, staying after practice, arriving early to practice. It's a constant. The same with the Tiger Woods documentary. You find out, all he does is practice. All these people that do all these things, it's work.
That's also another book that I've finished again recently that I've reread is Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers. Same thing. Putting in the time. Like, what makes someone exceptional? What makes someone stand out from anyone else? And one of the things he talked about is the Beatles and how often the Beatles would play when they were in Hamburg, that they would play 8 hours a day. Wow. And they were constantly playing. So when they went back to Liverpool years later, they're like fucking phenomenally better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just time and effort and inspiration and being fired up to do something. We were talking about this yesterday, that one of the things that happened during the pandemic was a lot of people realized that comedy was almost taken away from everybody. Because it was for a little bit. There was no comedy for a little bit. And that time, it made you really sit and reflect. Like, comedy's been a weekly part of our lives, except for rare occasions. Like, rare occasions where you take a little bit of a time off,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our friends, the Nether Hour, they totally started everything that they did together during the pandemic. Like, they had never even played together.
Really?
Yeah.
Those guys?
And they're like, you're a bass player,
No way.
So it was totally
That's
formed.
crazy, because those guys are so good together.
Yeah. And they have all those original songs, and they are, writing and performing all the time. But when you said that thing about the Beatles in Hamburg, it made me think of that, because they were locked in together every single day, and all they had were their instruments. So what else did they have to do? That was it.
That's where it's at, man. It's just getting obsessed with stuff. We've been doing so many shows lately. Like, didn't you feel that way in Colorado? Like, after we'd done 4 shows on a weekend, we're getting locked in.
Yeah.
Because we're just doing so many sets, so much stage time, and so many people, so many different crowds you're experiencing. So we did Sunday, we did Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we flew out to Colorado and did Friday and Saturday in Colorado. So just bang, 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 bang. Yeah. And you did Monday too, because Kill Tony.
Yeah.
So bang, 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 bang. It's like, we're so lucky, dude. Mm-hmm. Comedy's a fucking amazing thing. It really is an amazing thing.
So much fun.
So this fucking Dave Chappelle thing's crazy. Last night, I guess it was, someone attacked him at the Hollywood Bowl. He's fine. I checked in with him today. He was laughing about it. He's in good spirits. There's a video actually. He was laughing like right afterwards.
Yeah.
Because Jamie Foxx apparently had a cowboy hat and he jumped on stage to help. Jamie Foxx with a cowboy hat jumped on stage to fuck that dude up. The guy was 5 foot. That arm's broken, by the way. That arm's fucked. There is also like the way they led him into the like when he got into the actual stretcher, you could see he's fucked.
It's so funny. You can tell the type of beat up that somebody is when they're getting kicked on the ground from different angles by different people. It's a different type of like beat up look.
Yeah,
you could tell that left side of his face was the side that was either on the ground or totally like away from everything.
And the other side was getting punched.
Just everything's swollen on the one side.
Yeah, he's fucked. That guy. You mean Jesus Christ?
You could tell. You can always tell because you saw the actual video?
I saw the video. First of all, Dave Chappelle has good hips. Because the guy shoots
he almost
in
sprawled
on
him
and he kind of turned with him. He kind of kung fu'd him.
Yeah.
He came a little like Hito. Have you watched the video? As the guy's coming in, he's coming in this way, and Dave kind of like turns a little.
And it's balls too. Chappelle's a big boy, bigger than you think he is.
Well, the guy's crazy. Clearly, there's something wrong with him. Look at this.
And I mean, there's just no way to
hips.
describe how not expecting that you are when you're on stage.
Yeah. Look at him, he just runs away.
And then the comedian clicks in and he comes back because he's like, wait, it's my mic right now.
Look at this guy running. Oh my God, that guy's never tackled anybody in his life.
No, Chappelle almost makes it clear out all the way.
Yeah, almost. If he just had a little training. See, that was all an instinct. Mm-hmm. If he just had a little training. Imagine if he just punted that dude in the head when he went down.
Yeah. One of those Masvidal knees.
There is no security in the front row at this thing. Like, there should have been someone there that was scanning the audience for fucking weirdos. They're ready to sprint.
Crazy.
Well, we live in strange times, man. I mean, and after the Chris Rock thing, that was one of the things I was worried about. I was like, are people thinking they're going to start smacking comedians now if they don't like what they're saying?
Yeah.
And what I'm thinking, or what I'm worried about, is that people think that's justified. Like people keep using the same things. I saw an article. They said his transphobic statements. They're not fucking statements. They're jokes. They're not jokes that are transphobic either. They're jokes that feature trans people. They're not transphobic jokes. His whole bit in that last special that everybody was mad at is essentially a love letter to his friend that killed herself because she was supporting him and she got attacked on stage. The idea that in somehow or another is transphobic just because he's talking about a trans person is fucking crazy.
Right.
And then they just don't want to be talked about. That's essentially what it is. Like they're saying it's transphobic if you're even mentioning trans people as a subject, which is bonkers.
Yeah, because it's really the opposite, right? That means that they're equal.
Yeah.
If you're being included in an American free conversation and obviously a comedy set, like that means that you're part of the everything else. You're now.
Yeah, I mean, we all, of course, everything's part of the everything else. But it's like if there's stuff that you cannot discuss at all because it's so hot, the subject can't be brought up. Well, this is a nonsense way of communicating. You can't communicate like that.
Right.
You can't say people can't discuss topics.
Right.
Or discuss something that is prominent in culture right now. I mean, there's a lot of discussions about trans rights and about use of bathrooms and about trans kids, and the White House talks about it, and Jen Psaki was doing an interview and she was crying about it, sort of misrepresenting what the supposedly don't say gay bill in Florida, which isn't don't say gay. This is it's a weird time because we have to be able to look through the fog of the anger that we have for the opposite, or the anger we have for the opponent, because the way that the Democrats and the way that Republicans look at it today is there's us and there's them, and it's so polarized that anytime something comes up, anything like these subjects, like you want to find out what side is on what side of the issue. Like is my side on this is okay, or is my side on this is a bad thing? And that's a lot of what happens with these subjects. Instead of just being able to look at things and just honestly discuss things, things get fit into this polarized lens. Like somehow or another, Biden was talking about that today. He was talking about the Roe versus Wade thing, and he said something like, "What's next? Are we going to stop LGBTQ kids from going to classes with regular kids?" And then he said, "This MAGA group is the most extreme political group in U.S. history." So look at the way he connected those. Like, see if you can find that video. I believe I can send it to you. If you can't find it. You got it?
It is.
Okay. But let me see if it says the whole thing he says about LGBTQ kids first, because that's what he says first. I can send it to you, Jamie. I have. Okay, let me hear it here. Here it goes.
State changes the law saying that children who are LGBTQ can't be in classrooms with other children. Is that legit under the way that the decision is written? What are the next things that are going to be attacked? Because this MAGA crowd is really the most extreme political organization that's existed in American history.
Okay, no, that's a crazy connection. Yeah. What he just did is a crazy connection. He went from Roe versus Wade, which I don't know what's happening with that. I don't know if that's real. It's supposedly something was leaked that said they're going to overturn Roe versus Wade. I don't think that's been substantiated. Has that been substantiated?
I believe it's still, it was leaked, and
it's not substantiated though, right? It's
as far as like an official decision, I don't think
right.
so.
So you have something that has to do with abortion rights. So it's women's rights. And then how does he connect that to MAGA? Like, how does that, look at that way he did that. Like saying that you cannot have an abortion or abortion is not a federally protected thing under Roe versus Wade anymore. Going from that to saying, what if they decide to keep LGBTQ kids out of classes, to this MAGA crowd's the most extreme political organization in American history? Like, what? How did you get there?
Right.
How did you get to MAGA?
Yeah, because that's the slogan of his opponent.
I guarantee you there's some never Trump Republicans that are pro-life. I guarantee you.
Oh, yeah.
There's people that don't like the way Trump behaves and talks, and they don't think that he's a God-fearing Christian, and there's a lot of those folks out there.
Ton of them.
There's a lot of those folks. This idea that everybody falls into this, like it's all the MAGA, it's all the same. Like if you have any Republican viewpoints, or if you have any conservative viewpoints, that's a sneaky way of connecting any conservative viewpoints with Trump, which is like, half the people are going to hate it. If you can convince half the people that any idea is a Trump idea, they will immediately hate it. Half the people, right? Mm-hmm. If they're not paying attention, they're just reading headlines. Half the people will categorize that's a Trump idea. That's a MAGA thing. It's kind of an amazing way to dismiss things now. Because it used to be people could be conservative. They could be like William F. Buckley, and they could have conservative debates on television with Gore Vidal, and people would think it was normal. There's a conservative, there's a liberal, they're discussing issues. It's cool to see what resonates with me more. Not anymore, baby. Not anymore, because of this whole Trump thing and the MAGA thing, it's not just conservative versus liberal. It's like you can put it into this cult of personality, this Trump box, and then you get a 50% return rate on your investment. Yeah. Half the people are going to be like, fuck that. That's a Trump thing. That's a MAGA thing.
Yeah, it's super weird. It's crazy. I think that he may have said that because maybe he's, preemptively and always, I think he's always going to have to worry about the next election.
I think he's having a hard time keeping sentences.
Yeah.
I think he's having a hard time keeping thoughts straight in his head. And this is, forget about what my feelings are about them putting this guy into the position that he's in, which I think was insane. I was saying it was insane a couple of years ago. And he's a lot worse now. But the thing that gets me is that this is just a guy, is a human being, and we're watching a human being's wiring not work right anymore. We're watching bulbs fade out. And I think he's having a real hard time putting sentences together, just as a human, watching him. I feel bad for the guy because I feel like, imagine being in that position and this is his moment in the sun. The lights are on. The preparation's been done. All the fucking rehearsals for this. The cue cards are written. He's ready to give the speech, and he's just barely keeping it together.
And not only does he never improvise and never go off the script or never, tweet a crazy feeling that he has about something or anything instinctual that's actually him. I mean, we can feel that. Anybody can notice that. But they're using like all these little tricks. I thought to myself the other day, because I was watching one where he just got out of the helicopter and they're doing, it's chaos behind him. Thump, 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 right?
Right.
You know how they do these? Why do they do that?
So the promoters can't yell questions.
So that if he, no, I'm serious. If he can't hear, then he really can't hear. If he's seems overwhelmed, it's because of the sound of the chopper. But I'm like, that's how he is in a quiet room on a fake set behind a podium, struggling to answer this, that. But they do that a lot.
But they always
right
did
on
that.
the runway. I know.
They did it with Trump too.
But I think it's a little tricky. I think that's what they do when they want to give someone like a little bit of an escape, a little bit of a excuse.
Well, for the longest time, he would just walk away. Remember? Like,
yeah.
They would just ask him questions like, "Arr!" And then there was no press conferences. And I feel bad for that Jen Psaki lady. And, and everybody says like she's shrill and, the way she communicates. But whatever. Imagine having that job.
Oof.
Fuck that job. Because she has to debate with people more than the president does. She has to go back and forth with the press. And sometimes she says things in confidence, but just like being on a fucking podcast, sometimes you say things and you think it's true while you're saying it. It turns out it's not. And you represent the president of the United States. And no one's fact-checking you in real time. And it's all happening live on television. Yikes. Fuck that job. Everybody who gets it hates it.
Yeah.
The only one was good at that the last lady with Trump. What's her name? Kylie McEnany?
Oh, yeah.
How do you say her name?
Great. Kaylee McEnany.
She's the best.
Yeah.
She's the goat at that shit.
Yeah.
Because she would have fucking receipts. She had tabs on her notebook. She would pull right to when she knew they were coming with a gotcha.
Actually, if you would have done your research before asking that question, you would know.
She took large dumps on Jim Acosta's head. Just get out of here. It's a funny sort of arena, that press and press secretary. It's like someone speaking for the president, and supposedly these reporters are speaking for the people. It's wild. It's wild that's how we figure out, what's getting done and what's happening. You have to talk to the press secretary.
Such an old school system for something.
But it's all this gotcha shit. The whole thing is gotcha.
Yeah.
The press wants to get her and make her look stupid, and and she wants to show them that she's the girl boss, and I have all the facts, and here it are. We're gonna circle. She doesn't even circle back anymore. Did you notice that? She stopped circling back. Have you noticed?
No, but
I read something about
it's
it.
just funny to hear.
Yeah.
I read something about it. I forget. Maybe it's an article or something, and they said something about Jen Psaki not circling back anymore. And I said, "Oh yeah, that was her thing." Circle back.
Does she say we'll circle back on that? And she
She used to say she doesn't say that anymore, and I think because people started making fun of it, and then also B, because she doesn't want to circle back, because she would already circle back on those other things, because there was a lot of things she was supposed to circle back on. She probably has a fucking to-do list that's a mile long. Look at all the circle back stuff I have to get to. How long has she been circling back before she was in the mainstream media? Because that's when she couldn't circle back anymore.
I just Googled it. There's enough stuff that it's a thing on Etsy. You can buy circle back merchandise.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
Oh my God, I need one. Oh, they got circle back Trump 2024. Super Psaki. These are great.
Got to give her credit for breaking that glass ceiling. They normally don't give redheads a position like that. You know what I mean?
Is it a glass ceiling if it's for redheads?
I don't know. Is it?
But redheaded girls do not have the stigma that redheaded guys do.
That's true.
Redheaded guys struggle unless they're Canelo. That's a good looking redhead.
That's a great point. But he became Canelo because he's a redhead. Those Mexican kids picking on him all day.
A white redheaded Mexican
La Rose.
kid. Yeah. Louis C.K.'s Mexican.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Louis C.K. is actually born in Mexico.
Yeah. He's actually more Mexican than Carlos Mencia is.
He talks about that in his special.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
His most recent one?
No. It was 2 specials ago.
Wow.
2 or 3 specials ago. I think he did. I know he's talked about it on stage before. He's definitely said it before because he was actually born in Mexico.
Wow.
Yeah. That's what we should all be paying attention to, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not saying from a person who's xenophobic. I'm not worried about Mexican immigrants. I'm worried about Mexican cartels. I'm worried about the people that stay in Mexico. Like, Mexico is crazy right now. I pay attention to quite a few news pages that are covering the cartel wars, and it's wild, man. It's wild. There's all kinds of shootings down there.
Oh, yeah.
There's shootings in Mexico all the time now, and there's basically gigantic multi-billion-dollar drug rings, and they're going to war with each other. And there's a lot of them, folks, because there's a giant market for fentanyl and cocaine and marijuana and everything else that's illegal in the United States that comes up from Mexico. And because of our drug laws, this is what finances these organized crime gangs. And now they've gotten so big, and they're ruthless. They don't have laws that they have to uphold. It's not like, being a part of Raytheon or being a part of fucking, some other American corporation. This is a gang that has billions of dollars. It's a fucking drug gang that has billions of dollars. And who knows how many sneaky connections with corrupt officials that allow it to exist. Who knows how many people are profiting so that this stuff gets into America and keeps being distributed to America. And it's right there. And nobody's talking about it. All anybody talks about is the poor people that are trying to sneak across for a better life, and how horrible it is that some people don't want them to come across, and how compassionate these people that want to help them are. That's what the main focus is on. But there's also like terrorists sneaking in. They've caught terrorists.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's how they're.
They're coming.
It's a great way to do it.
Yeah, totally. I was in Miami last weekend or 2 weeks ago and hung out with my really good friend who I've known for years and years. He's Cuban. And he's like, hey, come over Saturday, bring the whole crew. And I did. We all went, me, William, and his mom made us this amazing Cuban dinner at this amazing house that they've had forever in Florida. It's been in their family for 3 decades or whatever. And it's just the coolest, most home-style meal. And they have a couple cousins who just came from Cuba there, and we're talking with them, and the rest of the family, the mom and my friend, are sort of semi-translating things that they don't get in between, because we're talking about it, and they said that they had to go through 5 countries, so they had to over to, what is it considered, South America? Right? What's below?
Well, Cuba's not connected to anything, so it depends on what direction.
No, not Cuba. They had to go due west and come up that way. And they said they had to go through 5 countries. So what's south of Mexico? Brazil, right? Where are we?
Yeah. So they came through Mexico? Is that what you're saying? I thought you were saying Cuba.
They're from Cuba.
Right.
But to get to America,
they came through Mexico.
They had to go through Mexico, but to get to Mexico, they had to go through blank, blank. They had to start all the way down there.
There it is. That's what that whole convoy was. You remember that giant, what would they call it? They didn't call it a convoy. What did they call it when the people were coming up from Mexico? They were watching them
Caravan?
come. Caravan? Yeah. So show that again, that map, please. When you look at that, these people were coming up. See where Mexico is. People were coming up from Guatemala, from Honduras. They were getting all these people, and they were walking all the way up into Mexico. Now, how do you think something like that happens? How do you think you get all these families and, kids and parents and everyone all together to just start walking up there? If we all walk, we're going to make it. Like, how does that work?
I can't even begin to fathom.
Who puts that together? Is that organizers? Is there like a clandestine purpose for something like that? Is there someone pulling the strings behind that going, listen, we're going to organize and we're going to get all these people and just bum rush the fence. We're going to talk them into it. We're going to give them food and water and take care of them along the way. And we're going to make a lot of press available to this. So they're going to come in and take photos and videos. We'll get it all up on the internet and get it all up on YouTube and in the news. And then people will know. I mean, how do these people know each other in different countries? Are they talking online? Are they all getting together on Reddit and they're trying to figure out where to meet? And what are they doing?
Yeah.
How is this happening? Who organizes that? Like how and where'd it go? Just stopped.
One of the things that I found extra interesting was the fact that they had to pay. There's like a ticket fee for America. Basically, once they stop you at the thing, what I found out from hanging out with this family, this Cuban family in Miami, was that it's a ticket. It's like $15,000. I'm like, so what makes the difference? So basically you have to have a family member, someone like that you can call that's here, like the cousin in Miami, and say, yes, that is my cousin. I will take care of them. I'll give them a start. I have an extra bedroom they can stay in. Okay, you can pay the $15,000 to get them over the other end.
Right.
So really, that's the price that America is saying. This is the ticket.
Did you say 15,000?
I'm pretty sure it's 15.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
If you get hit with that, can you get hit with it more than once?
Yeah, they had to pay 30 because they have two cousins.
Oh, Jesus.
Right. So it happens quick. It
So
adds up.
what if you get busted a second time? Like, is this once you're over here and you pay that fee, now you have to worry about being deported, right? How often do people get deported? Let's find that out. How many people get deported? Let's just guess. How many people get deported from the United States every day?
Every day?
Let's guess.
I would say 1,000 a day.
1,000 a day.
Yeah, it might be high.
That might be high. I'm gonna say 500 a day. But how many people come in every day illegally?
I'd say 1,001.
I'd say it's more than 1,000.
No.
I'd say it's more than 1,000 a
Oh
day.
yeah, coming in per day has to be at least 2,000.
Yeah, I think that's probably about right. But how do they know? Because if they can count them, they should catch them. Like if you're just counting them as they run across the border, like, hey, that's not helping. You have a bad system.
Yeah.
It's like how do you it's
How do they do that?
I don't know. But it's very strange that we're connected with a country that's so completely different. I mean, you just walk a certain amount of minutes from San Diego and everyone's in a different country. You're speaking Spanish. Everything's different. ICE deportations fell in April to lowest monthly level on record, enforcement data shows.
A year ago.
A year ago. What did it say?
It was just under 3,000 people for the month.
Oh, 3,000
So it's less than 100 a day.
deportations.
For the whole month.
Yeah, but that's still 3,000 deportations. That's a lot. What were we thinking, a day? We were thinking 1,000 a day. Is that what you...
It was 3.2 million during Obama's...
A day?
No.
A month?
The 8 years.
Oh. 8 years.
That's what I was going to start doing the math on. That, and I
Oh, so
found
it went
this.
way up.
What did I...
During his entire administration, so for 8 years, it was 3 million?
This data says about 2 million were deported between 2009 and 16 during the presidency of... This is a very bad sentence. Bush, comma, about 2 million people were deported, comma, while between 2009 and 2016. So it's written bad.
Okay, and so now, what did you say it was? It was 2,900 a month?
Yeah.
So I guess,
So it's 36,000 a year.
yeah.
Be $250,000 for 8 years. That's way
Yeah.
under. It's like 10%.
It's way under. So I guess I'm confused. And also, what is I mean, how accurate is this?
That's I was going to ask you when you were getting into it, is like what reasons, who like deported to where,
Right.
on a plane or
Right. And like what I was going to say is like, is this, is it lower because of the pandemic?
That's what I thought that was going to say, but it was, I don't know.
Because clearly, well, during the pandemic is also when there was the whole the scandal about the whole people at the border in cages and shit and all that weirdness. Do you remember the Mike Pence one? That one always weirded me out, man. Mike Pence is down at the border, and all those folks that were immigrants are in cages, and he's walking around, and he's like not making eye contact with them, and it looks very strange. See if you could find that. It struck me as very strange, because it didn't strike me. And I don't know what his mindset was. Watch this. Like, take a look at this. He said we get 3 tacos a day. So look at Pence.
He's looking at the lighting.
Yeah. Like, he's looking like above these people's heads. He's not looking at them at all. He's just like scanning them as a group, and he's got his arms crossed, and he's having a conversation with this cop. Said, you don't have the space. We have watchtowers up here. The watchtower is so close to pick anyone that gets rowdy so we can pull them out quickly. So they have watchtowers, and they have these people, like, how many dozens in there, fenced into a cage, and Pence isn't even looking at them. Look at, he's got his back turned to it. That's weird, man. Isn't that weird? Like, wouldn't you would be, first of all, maybe he feels disrespectful staring at those people, because it is kind of fucked that they can't get out and you're staring at them. It's kind of weird. It's probably got weird energy. But as a human being who's seeing these other human beings that have been captured, wouldn't you feel empathy? Wouldn't you feel like, wow, this is a fucked up situation? Like, what are these guys running from that it's worth getting arrested here? Like, what is life like for them? What are they escaping? It's so much worse than this, that they're willing to take this chance. And our standards and our understanding of like what life should be is so elevated in America that if you look at some of the poorest places in Mexico, they're fucking right there, man. They're not far at all.
Right.
Just outside of Tijuana, some incredibly poor areas. And you think, like, if you know you're stuck there and you're not going to ever get out and this is just going to be your life forever, you'll take some wild-ass chances. But for a guy like Mike Pence, like, that's not a neighborhood that exists in his mind. You know what I mean? That's not like a place that he can go to. Like, oh, yeah, I remember when I was a kid and we had a dirt floor and we would try to catch wild chickens because we had no food for dinner, and we were thinking about how to sneak over into America someday. That's what's going on in these people. And there's fucking thousands of them coming across every day. Oh, that was the other thing. How many illegal immigrants do they estimate coming to America each day? Because a lot of the Republicans talk about, it's weird. Republicans talk about it a lot, and Democrats want to pretend it's no big deal.
I think the same article is saying that there is 50,000 detained on any given day. So I don't know. It goes up and down, and it stays at 50.
50,000 a day.
No.
50,000 detained.
Not like
not like
to,
arrested.
Right,
oh, I see. Incarcerated.
Correct.
Currently incarcerated, 50,000 per day. How many new ones are coming in, you think? How many people they keep in those cages? What do they do when the cages gets full? Guess what? It's your lucky day, Tony. We can only keep 50,000 in this cage. So you are 50,001, so we're going to give you a bus ticket to Tacoma.
Here's from
Go to
CNN,
Washington State. Nearly 6,000 undocumented immigrants apprehended daily at U.S.-Mexican border in April. Holy shit. 6,000 a day. That's bigger than the crowd that we had in Colorado.
Wow.
For each show a day.
Damn.
That many people.
Oh, my goodness.
That's wild, dude. That's a lot of people.
Crazy times.
That's a good way to look at it, right? Because we've done 6,000 seat arenas and theaters, and you could see it in your head what 6,000 looks like. You know? Fuck, man. But of course they are. Of course they're doing that. Anybody that doesn't think they should be doing that, you don't live there. If you lived there, you would think you should be doing that. 100%. Recently, an average of around 1,500 people daily have evaded law enforcement at the border. The number of so-called gotaways that the agency detects through a variety of technological and other tracking efforts, according to the official. I don't like the way they're saying that.
I know. So,
What do you got? Fucking satellites watching the border? It's all, I mean, if you were of the tinfoil hat, you know, if you were of that persuasion, you would look at this and you go, you guys, why haven't you fixed that? Do you want people to come across? Do you want it to be easy? Is that how the drugs get over here? Like, how do the drugs get over here?
Yeah, I mean,
They bust them with tunnels every now and again, which are wild. The one that they found in Tijuana, did you see that one? Bro, it's almost like the most sophisticated drug tunnel they've ever discovered. It had lights.
wow.
You didn't see that?
Where did it go to?
I'm not sure. There's quite a few of them, though. They find them all the time. Because you have to realize the amount of money that the cartel has, or the cartels, have. There's so many of them. And they're selling billions and billions of dollars worth of drugs every year. They're selling fentanyl, and they're selling fake Xanax, and they're selling, and it's just, there's a never-ending thirst to escape your normal state of consciousness, and all they have to do is get us the supplies, and they can have helicopters and hippos and tanks, machine guns.
Crazy.
It's a tunnel. I didn't say how long it was.
Record long tunnel found on U.S.-Mexico border. How long was it? Did it say?
It doesn't say. I was trying to find. By going into more information about.
It's so funny how easy it is to get into Mexico. You just like, hi, you just wave. Hi. Mariana Van Zeller, she's a woman that she's been on my podcast a couple of times, and she has this show. What's her new show called? Trafficked?
Trafficked, yeah.
And
183 feet.
180-foot long subterranean tunnel found in Mexicali, Baja California, near the border. Wow. But she, what was I going to say about her? God damn it.
Drugs, Mexico.
I know.
Traffic.
I'm trying to remember what
The
my
tunnel.
point was. Fuck. I lost it. God damn it. It's Mike Tyson marijuana. I blame the Mike Tyson marijuana. That's up strong.
Ridiculously strong.
It's very good. God damn it. I don't remember what my point was. My point was something about marijuana and getting it into the country, drugs.
How easy it is to get in to Mexico.
Oh, that's what it was. Thank you. This, one of the episodes, she worked with these dirty cops, and they were bringing guns to the cartel from California. So these dirty cops were selling, and they had been selling for years, AK-47s, machine guns, pistols, everything, selling it to the cartel. And so she films these people. They're all blurred out. They open up the trunk of their car, and it's filled with illegal guns that they've confiscated, and then they sell. And then these dirty cops drive through the border into Mexico, and they make millions of dollars selling these guns to the cartels. Wow. It's wild, dude. Wow. It's wild because it's so easy to get into Mexico. So you just have a truckload of fucking illegal guns. Nobody gives a fuck. Go through. Go ahead. Hi. Enjoy your tacos. Have fun in Tulum. Just wave.
It's wild.
It's crazy. You just get right through. But coming back up, they check your asshole with a microscope.
Right.
They fucking cut your tires open and find cocaine in them. They have dogs sniff your car.
Yeah.
They find a seed. They find something. Those dogs, man. Those fucking dogs that they use for those. They have a dog that's like, they're specific to a smell. So whatever that smell is, that dog's getting a treat. So if it's fentanyl, they just move around that car and they're like, this fucking trunk is dirty. And then pull you over and you're done. There's so many people like trying to get into the United States border every day in that line. It's such a slow moving line. But the one in New Mexico, whew, just trunks full of guns.
Incredible.
Because that's how they get their guns. You got to think, man, if you're working for the police and you're a dirty cop and you know people that are in the cartel, or a connection to someone who's in the cartel, and they tell you, hey, I'll give you $50,000 for an AK-47. You're like, what? Because they have, when you're talking about someone who has that kind of money, like Jeff Bezos type money, but they're just selling fentanyl, and they need AK-47. So I'll give you a lot of money for it. Like, what does it cost normally? $5,000? I'll give you 10 times that. That's all they'd have to do. And people would get together and they go, look, we got one trunk full. That's $500,000. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Cash.
Yeah. Cash. And we could do this once a month. And the next thing you know, we're making fucking $6 million a year. Come on. Oh, I don't know. What if we get caught? There'll be those kind of conversations, but a lot of people must be doing it. I wonder how they get their stuff. I bet a lot of it comes from China, right? Like that's where a lot of the fentanyl chemicals come from. The stuff that they use to make fentanyl, all the precursors and all that shit. That stuff comes from China. But China probably works with them. Like, I think there's probably people in China that most certainly would do business in Mexico to sell illegal drugs to the United States. Wouldn't you?
No doubt.
Why not? You could poison your enemy from right underneath it, like literally in its basement. Like, poison the enemy by just getting more and more fentanyl and more hard drugs into the kids.
No doubt.
Meanwhile, in China, you get on TikTok and they're showing athletic achievements, science accomplishments. They're showing people, how to create and how to be inspired and how to really contribute to your country. Their big moves are all the big movies rather are all movies where a Chinese guy kicks the shit out of an American.
Is that true? Are we the bad guy over there?
Yes.
Oh man.
We're not just the bad guy. In Spider-Man, the recent Spider-Man, when they tried to send it over to China did not want the scene where they fought on the Statue of Liberty. They didn't want the Statue of Liberty in there. Like, take it out of the movie.
Did they
Marvel
take it out?
said no. Marvel said no. We're drawing a line in the sand. Ooh.
Wow.
Because China dictates a lot of stuff in terms of like what gets done in movies. Like, they change scripts for the way the Chinese people, like, if they, say they're not going to buy this or that it's not, they're not going to allow it in their market, because they can not allow a movie. If there's a movie that the Chinese government doesn't approve of, they go, fuck that movie. And that's it. You don't get in. And then if you're a movie business, the amount of money, like one thing we found after John Cena apologized to China in Mandarin, we looked it up. The amount of money that movie made opening weekend in China was the vast majority of the money. It was something like they made $160 million opening week, and 140 of it was from China.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no. You hear that, you go, oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody will apologize in Mandarin. For
Oh,
that
I'll
kind of
learn
money.
Mandarin. I'll learn the shit out of some Mandarin. What does it say here? Domestic, is this from that movie? So this is like total. This is not. Is that opening week or that's total domestic?
It's just total because I added
Okay.
up.
So it says worldwide. Yeah. So this was early on. Worldwide, it says 721. At one point in time, if you look up when John Cena apologized, opening weekend profits, China, because that was when. So either way, that
It wasn't open anywhere else though.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Right, but that's also another reason why he has to apologize to China, because that's all their money. If they pull it out of China, they're fucked. But actually, you know what? At this point in time, I feel like if something like that happened and they pulled it out of China and everybody heard they pulled it out of China and then it became like a big thing, it'd probably be amazing publicity.
There has it broken down by country.
Mm.
China was $215 million of opening weekend screens, 240,000.
Wow. So opening weekend was 128 million, whereas like the whole thing was like whatever it was like 140 or 160. I forget the whole number, but the whole entire opening weekend, most of it was coming out of China. But that doesn't make sense if China was open and the rest of the world wasn't.
What movie is it again?
Fast and Furious.
Right.
That's what's crazy. It's like, look how much money that movie makes in other countries, except Uruguay. Uruguay gave it like $18,000. Scroll up a little bit. No, back to where it was. Some of it was 18 grand. Oh, Switzerland. Italian-speaking Switzerland. It only made 18 grand.
Wow.
Italian-speaking Switzerland. What? How that is so fucking specific.
5 screens.
Yeah, 5 screens. That's hilarious. But it's funny how those movies, those shoot 'em up, explosion, fuck you, look at my biceps movies, those movies kill it in other countries.
Yeah. People love that shit. Die Hard's world famous.
Oh my God. Well, but Die Hard was still world famous in America. I mean, Die Hard's kind of a holiday movie. It's a Christmas movie. A lot of ways. It's kind of like a little bit of the Scrooge aspect of it. You got a guy who's like losing his family because he's a piece of shit and realizes it and saves the day and becomes a hero in the end. Let's get the hero's journey all written into it.
There's some tricky little secret Christmas movies out there. Do you know Edward Scissorhands is a Christmas movie?
Really?
Yeah. It's like a Christmas movie. I can't remember why I know that, but I remember the last time I saw it, I'm like, this is crazy. This is a Christmas movie.
You know what's great is A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
That's a great movie.
You want to know what's really great, though? And I can't remember. I think we talked about this. I can't remember whether you said you saw it or didn't see it. But Mel Gibson plays Santa Claus.
No, I haven't seen it.
Oh, dude.
Is it really good?
I can't wait until next Christmas only to watch this movie in like a Christmassy vibe again. And I just saw it this past one, and it is so cool. It's like he actually plays like the most badass Santa of all time, who's actually, you know, at the North Pole and is a real guy. Dude, it's the coolest. It is like John Wick meets Christmas.
Yeah, I saw the preview for it. It looked pretty funny.
And the way that they have just enough Christmas magic in it mixed with all these crazy guns. And he has a serious threat, like military grade threat.
Santa Claus drives a red old pickup truck. That's Santa Claus?
Dude, it's so cool. They made him like a real guy.
I'm glad Mel Gibson made a comeback. I was bummed out at him getting arrested and saying a bunch of wild shit about Jews. I love that dude. I'd love his work. He's a hell of a movie maker. I mean, he's a crazy dude, but I think you need to be crazy to be that good of an actor. You know, I mean, watch him in Braveheart and tell me what sane guy you want playing that role.
Right.
You know, there's certain moments that could be achieved in film only through madmen and madwomen.
Yeah.
You need wild people.
Watching Roseanne last night made me feel that at 1,000 miles an hour, right? Because I'm thinking to myself, well, it's been a while since she's done it. She's one of the GOATs, but it's been a while since she's done it.
Yeah.
And, you know, and also people say she's crazy. You know what I mean? And she's up there, so this could go off the rails quick. And it made every single second that much more enjoyable because you're like, holy shit, she's doing it. Oh my God, she's got it. And then at one point, not to give anything away, but she ends up saying, I'm crazy. And you're like, oh my God, she knows. It's just that vibe of great, pure stand-up comedy where you're like, oh my God, she's saying what we're all thinking at the moment that we're thinking it. And like, you know, just brilliant flow. Crazy, man.
No, she's awesome, but she is insane,
Yeah.
but in a good way. But yeah, but with acting, it's not. It's a different kind of thing, right? Because you're pretending that you're really emotionally connected to this scene that you're having with this other person. You're screaming at them and like Daniel Day-Lewis. The guy's got to be out of his mind.
Yeah.
Got to be out of his mind. Like for him to play that I drink your milkshake guy
Oh my God.
in There Will Be Blood, for
Yeah.
him to play that guy is one of the most complex, terrifying, and yet sympathetic characters. Like what an insane character. And the way he played it, believable for every second of every frame of every, you know, part of the movie that you show. It was amazing. Like think of fucking Alec Baldwin and Glenn Ross when he reads off that coffee's for closers. That's a mean man right there. That's a guy like play that. That's a motherfucker who knows how to be mean. Like that's mean for real. You know, like he's pulling into some darkness.
I mean, Kevin Spacey was mesmerizing
Yes.
in House of Cards.
I don't think you can get a person who's not crazy to play crazy as good as like an Alec Baldwin can play crazy.
Down. Coffee's for closers only. You think I'm fucking with you?
It's young, handsome Alec Baldwin. Look at him.
I am not fucking with you.
I heard I look like
I'm
him.
here from downtown. I'm here from Mitch and Murray. And I'm here on a mission of mercy. Your name's Levine? Yeah. You call yourself a salesman, you son of a bitch? I don't gotta listen to this shit. You certainly don't, pal. Because the good news is you're fired. The bad news is you've got just 1 week to regain your job, starting with tonight. Starting with tonight's sit. Oh, have I got your attention now? Good. Because we're adding a little something to this month's sales contest. As you all know, first prize is a Cadillac Eldorado. Anybody want to see second prize? Second prize is a set of steak knives.
All right, we get it. It's not as good as I thought it was. I guess you got to see it in the whole context of the movie. I felt like it was. I haven't seen it in so long. But it's also just part of it. It gets heated up towards the end. But to be like one of those people, whether it's Mel Gibson or any of these actor types that are just insanely good in a movie, you got to be a little crazy.
Insanely good. Makes you wonder what we don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
These people, like, I mean, even that, you talk about insane and doing good in a movie. I didn't see the movie, but clearly one of the most obvious signs of mental illness that we've seen lately publicly is Will Smith, in my opinion, slapping Chris Rock from the front row, walking over and doing that. And then 30 minutes later, he won Best Actor.
Yeah.
So I think that's exactly what we're talking about here, right?
Exactly what we're talking about. Exactly. Yeah. I mean, he's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, he shows emotion in his films. It's so real.
Yeah.
So wild. The guy's probably always on the verge of crying.
Yeah.
It's probably a mess.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the way his wife smiled after Chris Rock got slapped, the whole thing was just, oh, my God. Like, he's under a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's being captured by witchcraft.
It's crazy.
He's the fucking one of the biggest movie stars ever.
Yeah. And
lives in hell.
Television stars.
And
ever.
lives in hell. Did you see that video where she was following him around the house, like filming him? And he's like, don't use me for clout. My social media is like very important to me. And she turns the camera on herself like as if, and she put that up. As if people are not going to watch that and go, are you fucking crazy? Here's another example. Johnny Depp's and Amber Heard's trial. Like, whoa.
Yeah.
You feel jealous that some people are movie stars? Do you? Yeah? You want to know what they're like behind the scenes?
Yeah.
And when this one witch convinces this super millionaire to not sign a prenup so that she can weasel all the money out of him and throws a fucking glass bottle and cuts his finger off, beats him up, and then goes to the press and tells everybody that Johnny beat her. Lies and says that she had to use a specific makeup to cover up all the abuse that he gave her. And the makeup company says, we didn't even make that makeup back then. Like, she got so specific, which is something that people are full of shit do. They add a lot of like unnecessary details.
Right.
If she just said I had to put makeup on to cover up, she had like a very specific makeup.
She's on the stand right now.
Oh, let me hear this. Give me some.
This is
Live.
live. So I have no
Give
idea
me
what
some.
they're talking
Give
about.
me some.
That, you know, I didn't internalize, like, I didn't make that big of a deal of it. I kind of pride myself on being tough, and, you know, I don't make a big deal out of, you know, smaller injuries. And I know that sounds horrible because and hard maybe to understand, but my best way to cope with it is I kind of, you know, minimize it, make sure no one, make sure he knows that I'm tough and can't knock me down, and I make a joke of it, clearly. Make light.
I'm going to, Michelle, if you can take this one down. And
I've seen enough.
Yeah.
She was examined by some psychologist that said she may have some sort of borderline personality disorder. That was like during the trial. Was it Johnny Depp's guy, or was it a independent person that examined her? Because it was Johnny Depp's guy. I take it with a little grain of salt.
In this article on NPR, she spoke on her own behalf after her legal team presented a clinical psychologist who said she was diagnosed with panic disorder and post-traumatic stress disorder. Oh, that's something different.
Yeah, that's different. This is a couple of days ago.
Yeah,
Some said they diagnosed her.
Nah, look.
So Depp is suing her for $100 million in defamation. He won't let it go. This has been going on for years. He won't let it go. He's hounding her. Now he's actually got her on stage. And the thing is, on the stand, you see how crazy she is, and also you get to hear the recordings of how crazy she is. Like, the recorded audio of them fighting is fucking hell. It's hell. It's just straight hell. You just imagine being trapped in that fucked up relationship, just going, oh my God. And so everybody now knows the truth. They now know this isn't like some nice person was involved in this mean person. The mean person hit the nice person, and the nice person is just trying to get by. That's not what's going on. No, this was like two insane people involved in a relationship where Johnny was famous from the time he was 20 years old, right? Like, how? How do you figure that out? How do you navigate life like that? Like, what are your tools that make you different than everybody else who's ever been famous when they're really young? Because they all develop fucked up. Right. And then her. Psychologist hired by Johnny Depp testified that Amber Heard has borderline personality disorder. Shannon Curry said she believes Heard was grossly exaggerating when asked about having PTSD symptoms. Of course. That's a thing that people can just say, like anxiety. I have anxiety. Who doesn't? Yeah. Who the fuck doesn't have anxiety?
Right.
And what are you doing with your time? Are you just laying around your house all day? Yeah, no wonder you have anxiety. That's not good. Right. That's not normal. Like, if you go to the gym every day and, you take a class and you work out hard, or you go for a mile run and you fucking do some sit-ups and push-ups, and then you have anxiety, let's talk. Because you might actually have anxiety. But if you're just laying around, like, I know people that say they have anxiety, and I'm like, what'd you do today?
Right.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't get off the couch. What?
Yeah.
How'd you get here?
On my phone all day.
How'd you get here if you couldn't get off the couch?
Yeah.
How were you here? You got off the couch. Well, I couldn't earlier. Oh. Well, I guess you're powerless. Yeah. Couldn't get off the couch. You could get off the fucking couch. You just tell yourself when you go to bed at whatever time you go to bed. Say, I'm going to get up at whatever time. I'm going to eat breakfast at this time. And then at that time, I'm going to exercise. And just do it. Just do it. Sucks. You don't want to do it. I know. Just go through the motions. Don't even have to go through it that hard. Just get a sweat going. Get going. I guarantee you, once you start moving, it'll be easier. And once you start sweating, it'll be easier. And then, and only then, tell me how you really feel. Because you don't even know how you feel. You know how you feel when you don't do anything. You know how you feel when you don't do anything and you lay around and you feel like shit. Yeah, duh. I do too.
Yeah.
I feel like shit. I do things every day. But if I don't do things every day, I'll feel like shit.
Yeah.
That's how it works with people. That's what makes a person.
I like to live both sides of it sometimes.
Well, you like a little relaxation, but you work hard.
Yeah, absolutely. Today I have scheduled it's May 4th, so there's a special Star Wars hot yoga going down tonight in downtown Austin that I'm going to be taking part in.
Yeah.
No shame in my
game.
May
the 4th be with you. That's right.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. That's today.
I'm pumped about that. That's been fun lately. Hot yoga is crazy, man.
Yeah, it is crazy. Hot yoga is the best.
It is a miserable hour in which, just like any workout, that first 10 minutes is like, what am I doing? This was a mistake. And then something clicks in and it just... Whew.
And if you can make that 30, that last 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Last 30 minutes is rough.
Yeah.
You do a 90-minute yoga class and it's 105 degrees. The last 30 minutes is fucking rough.
And you're dripping. Yeah. Continuous drips. I looked the other day and there was a moment where I saw 5 drops come off me at once, whatever I was doing. And I'm like, maybe I'm going too hard. Maybe this is too much. And then immediately I'm like, nah, come on, let's go. What are you going to die?
Do you bring a hydro flask with you filled with ice water?
Just a regular bottle of water.
Yeah,
it does. It gets warm throughout. I wish I should do something better.
When I used to go to Beak Rooms in Agora, I got one of these 64-ounce hydro flasks, this big-ass jug, and I fill it up with ice.
Yeah.
And then I fill it up with water. And it's so fucking hot in there, the ice melts in the water. And the water is perfectly cold.
I'm going to get one.
So a perfect balance of having enough ice and enough water and keep it in there. Dude, that's the move because it's too fucking hot.
Yeah.
You need cold water.
Right.
Or you're going to have less effort. I want to put out maximum effort. So when I have some water, I want to have a little cold water or a little with ice in my water. I'm more used to it now though because of sauna. I can do a yoga session easier now than ever before. Just I'm so used to being under heat exposure that 105 degrees doesn't feel that bad. Like my body can get back to normal easier. It's weird like that. Your body's adaptable to heat.
They also turn on the humidity in those things, though. There's an extra oomph to it. Yeah, it's because
in the hot yoga room.
Yeah, there's been a couple times where they're like, the heat's working today, but the humidity machine is off. Is getting repaired, and and it was a noticeable difference. And I'm like,
Easier.
oh yeah, with
Way
just
easier.
heat.
Yeah.
When you add humidity, which this place is like, I go to the place that's like famous for being torturous. Like you're supposed to like, they want to kill you. And you're supposed to sort of take breaks throughout. And they tell you that it's okay. Like, don't go passing out to be a legend. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, take a break if you need it. And what was I just saying?
Yoga, hot yoga.
Yeah.
Torture.
Oh, yeah.
Mike Tyson weed.
Yes, exactly.
This is Mike Tyson's weed.
It really is crazy.
It's called the Toad.
Yeah, I feel like the guy that sat behind him on that airplane right now. Beat up.
Yeah. But yeah, hot yoga for yourself. It's very good. It's one of the best things ever. And it also, like, if you can get through it, man. I used to go there, and there was this old lady that would go, and I think she was like deep into her 70s, and that lady was tough as nails.
Yeah.
She went through every fucking class. She was there every day I was there. She was always doing it.
All the dudes in the class, like, they're like older guys that look young. So I'm like, I have to be doing this right. Like,
Yeah.
this has to be the correct move. These guys all seem happy. They seem zen. They're not annoying. It's
Right.
like, you know.
So you have to be resilient to be able to get through one of those classes.
With that said, I have the craziest pet peeve. If anybody, like, you're not supposed to talk in a yoga room, you know?
Right.
And sometimes people will be talking at that.
I don't like that.
Oh, it drives me crazy.
Don't talk.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm about to, like, it's almost like Curb Your Enthusiasm style, because I'm like about to be like, I'm deciding, do I want to say shh? Do I want to say hey? Do I, you know, like, I'm trying to figure
Right.
out, and then I say nothing, and the instructor comes in, and I'm like, I let them get away with that. And it sort of bothered me, you know.
Oh, you mean the beginning of the class
right.
before the class?
Yeah, right before the
Oh.
class. And it even says on the door, like, you're entering a silent zone or whatever. It
Right.
says there's a yoga word for it, whatever.
Yeah.
But it is so annoying.
That's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah. The worst is when someone starts asking you questions. So then they start forcing you into a conversation where you're trying to be in your calm Zen mind, getting ready for your yoga class. Because getting ready for your yoga class is a lot like getting ready for jiu-jitsu. Like, you got to warm up a little. You got to prepare yourself because you're going to go through some shit.
Yeah.
Like, you got to get ready. You got to psychologically prepare yourself.
Yeah.
If someone's like, hey, man, did you see fucking Yellowstone last night?
Ugh. And it's even worse if they're not talking to you, kind of. Because in there, it's affecting you just as much as if they were talking to you. But now you get to hear two dumb sides of a conversation. Like, no, I didn't see Yellowstone, but I DVR'd it. My DVR's not working right now. I'm like, what is going on here? Are you people crazy? Like, if you're talking here, you must be talking everywhere 100% of the time continuously about nothing.
Movie theaters. People that talk in movie theaters.
Ooh, that's another one.
Oh, that's a rough one. And not just that, but they text in movie theaters, so their phone lights up. So you see them in front of you, and you see a phone lighting up, and you're like, that's the thing about going to movie theaters. It makes a movie better if everybody's good.
Yeah.
If everybody, especially a comedy. I remember went to see Something About Mary. We saw it in the movie theater, and it was Steve Sharippa said it best. He said they were killing like a comic was on stage. That's
what the new Jackass movie was like
Really?
in theaters. Oh my God. And I kept thinking it throughout the whole time. The first 5 minutes in, I'm like, wow, this feels like a stand-up show. It has beats, absolute continuous beats, moments that are funny.
I need to see it.
Some moments to different people. It's so epic because they have a budget now. Like, they get to do whatever they want now.
I can't believe that Johnny Knoxville, after breaking his dick, still does those stunts. I mean, his dick's broken, right?
I don't want to give anything away, but
Don't give
chaos
anything away.
happens. in
Doesn't
this
he
one.
need to use like a pump on his dick because he broke it in one of those stunts?
Well, I don't know about that. Did you hear that?
Yes.
A
yes.
pump to pump out what?
To get his dick hard.
Really?
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Something went wrong. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Bro, they get hurt. Like real hurt for real.
Yeah.
Like hit by bulls hurt. Stomped. You know, the kind of hurt where you could die. Johnny Knoxville, on the time he broke his penis. So much has been said about so little. What a great line. He said, a stunt performer tried to perform a backflip on a motorcycle in 2007 when the bike flew into the air and landed on his crotch. The subsequent injury to his penis meant that he had to use a catheter for 3.5 years. Holy fuck, dude. Wow.
I broke my gym dog
He calls
number of
it-
years ago.
He calls his dick his gym dog. I broke my gym dog a number of years ago. It's been well documented. So much has been said about so little. The injury was no close call. To adding, the doctor said a couple of centimeters down, it would have been out of commission. But I've had 2 children since then, so it's in great working order. Okay, so the thing about him having a pump is bullshit. So it's the catheter. That's what it's like one of those things. Like, look at him up there. That's the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, gee, he gets hit by a bull in the new one?
Yeah,
Oh
because they
my-
pay
oh,
they pay
Jesus
homage to the
Christ.
time that the bull knocked him out before in this
Oh
time.
my God! What the fuck, man?
Yeah, spoiler alert. This time it's worse,
No, I don't want to hear that.
but it's great. It's
He's
great though.
Out of his fucking mind.
He wasn't
man.
blindfolded this
Look at Wee Man's face when this is happening in the corner.
Jesus Christ! This is so unnecessary.
Those guys, I'm telling you, this one is a masterpiece.
I'm sure. I've heard nothing but good things. Nothing but good things. Jesus Christ, man. What were we talking about before we talked about Jackass?
Comedies, comedy
movie in
movies.
theater.
Oh yeah, seeing something in a movie theater, it's like you get that thing of like going to see a comic in a club. We're all laughing together. This contagious laughter, you know. But the problem is like some people just, especially in this day and age where people are so damn addicted to their devices, they can't not look at their phone for an hour and a half. They have to check their phone. They have to be texting in the middle of it, and they don't even have night mode on. So they turn the phone on. It's blinding white.
Right.
And you see it all around you while you watch. You have to kind of like ignore this half of your eyesight.
And out here in Austin, there's almost exclusively only theaters that have waiters and waitresses. Like, it's really different here. It's a Alamo Draft House tradition that sort of started here, and now the other places all do it. So when that happens, it even gets a little bit crazier, because now people pull out their phones to look at their receipt or to look at the menu or to look at their bill or whatever. And so it happens, and they do that 15 minutes before the movie ends or whatever. So it's sort of comedy clubby in that way, movie theaters here.
You almost need like a chin strap type baseball hat deal.
Yeah, that'd be good. A little shelf that comes up.
Yeah, just like how a baseball hat blinds out the sun. You get a chin strap deal so you can watch a movie without looking at anybody's phone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to see your bullshit. Just something that comes up to like right here, so you just watch the whole screen and nothing but the screen.
But if
It's actually not a bad idea.
But if you did that, someone would leave their phone on and they wouldn't be able to get to it. Sorry, the shelf is up right now. Just be
They
ringing.
make these goggles for basketball so that when you dribble, you don't look down. That would probably be the exact same thing.
Interesting. Is that
It's
for
off.
drills?
Yeah, it cuts off like half your vision.
Have you ever done it?
Whoa.
No.
That sounds like a yes.
When I mean, these didn't exist when I was like 12 and needed to practice dribbling like this. There was something very close to it, but not quite like that.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, that seems to be a thing that would benefit from just like consistent repetition, dribbling, like knowing the exact reaction the ball's going to have, so you know where it's going to be when you're moving around. You don't want to look at that, I would imagine. And I imagine you could get away without, like, a guy who's really good at cards. They can right in front of you. They just have a feel for it. They don't have to think about it. That's what's so amazing about people, is that we can learn shit. That's really amazing. Like, when you watch someone who's really good at something, and you watch they learn, especially with something that you can't do, like fucking gymnastics or something, watch them perform some floor routine, and you go, wow. Like, look what you figured out how to do with your body. Like, how weird is that? Or, someone who's like really good at anything athletic that's weird, like,
David Blaine is teaching magic now.
oh boy.
You can buy his class online.
Ooh.
I think you have to become a sorcerer. I think he's legitimately a sorcerer. David Blaine was so talented, it's kind of creepy. His magic, like, he did it right in front of us in the green room. We were watching him like a hawk. I didn't see a goddamn thing. Did you see anything?
I was trying. I thought I knew when he was going to do it, where he was going to do it. I set myself up in an angle. I felt like I was being a dick. But I was like, I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Couldn't fucking tell.
Jamie was like on that shit like a hawk on a power line. You couldn't tell. Could not tell.
I saw David Copperfield flying when I was a kid. I was like, look at the fucking string, Dad. Look, you fucking ruins it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an old Teddy Bergeron joke about going to see Peter Pan, and there's a little kid, and he's going to see Peter Pan. It's like, wow, this is amazing. Look, Peter Pan's flying. And he goes, and there's always someone in the audience going, he's on a wire. He's on a wire. Look, Santa Claus isn't real, and he's on a wire.
That's hilarious.
It's true. It's like people want to see behind the curtain.
Who'd you say?
Teddy Bergeron. Do you know who Teddy Bergeron is?
Is that the guy that hosted like Hollywood Squares or something?
No. That's Todd Bergeron? No. What's his name?
He's got a very similar name too.
He hosted Dancing with the Stars or something, right? Didn't he? He was Tom Bergeron? Yeah, he was on television in Boston when I lived in Boston. He was like a local television personality. And then he became national when he was on. He was Dancing with the Stars, right? Isn't that what he hosted? And he hosted that like forever.
Yeah, Hollywood Squares first. And then
Yes. So, he did host that as well. Mm-hmm. So, Teddy Bergeron was one of the first guys to come out of Boston that really cracked on The Tonight Show. He was brilliant. But Teddy liked to party. And I don't mean like to party. Like Teddy liked to go into other dimensions and wake up on a park bench.
Wow.
And he just would get fucked up and mess things up. And in his prime, though, like, damn, he was good. I saw him when I was an open micer, and I'd only done comedy like I think once or twice. And I went to an open mic, and I was waiting, and he, dropped in to do like 10 minutes. So he dropped in to do 10 minutes, and I was almost like, I should just quit. I should quit. He was so polished. It was so smooth. Like all of his bits were so like well thought out. And I was like, wow, he's so good. But substances, yeah, that's him. Play some of that.
That guy likes to
Los
party?
Angeles. Basically, the 2 years were spent trying to figure the people out there because they're somewhat different. I remember one night I was playing my stereo really loud, about 3 in the morning, blaring through the room, and a little old lady that lives in the next apartment started banging on my door. What the hell's the matter with you? Turn the bass up! Sure. But I'm back in New York, East Coast, where people are normal. A little too normal. Too formal here. So I dressed tonight like this because it's an officious city. Today, someone asked me for the correct time. Hadn't heard that in a long time. Excuse me, young man, have you got the correct time? I have a meeting, I need the correct time. As opposed to what, the incorrect time? I mean, who wants to know that? Bright sunny day, man's walking along a beach. Have you got the incorrect time? It's midnight. Thank you. But I started in Boston, my comedy career, and I had to leave, unfortunately.
Pause.
It's a great comedy city.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's not quite how we remember. Little Glenn Ross vibes.
A little
there.
bit. No, way worse. You know what it is? It's like that's a Tonight Show set, and you got to fucking water everything down.
Yeah.
84.
Yeah. That's 4 years before I even saw him. You got to see him in the clubs. You know, he was a great comic. But that's just those Tonight Show sets are the worst. You know, you're standing out there, you don't even have a microphone. It's not a comedy club audience. You're moving your hands around because you don't know what to do with them because you're not holding a mic.
Right. It's the opposite of a real club with phones locked up.
It's the opposite of it.
Yeah.
What's worse because you're not even really at a club. You're at a TV taping. So there's this like artificial pressure.
Right. It's daytime. People don't realize it's like 4 in the afternoon.
That's also 1980s comedy. There's a thing about 1980s comedy is you have to put it in the context of 1980s. You really do. I mean, obviously you have guys in the 80s that were producing stuff that's like top of the food chain, like Pryor and Eddie Griffin, Eddie Griffin, sure. I don't know when he started actually, but I met Eddie Murphy. And then also, of course, Kinnison, and then Dice Clay. So Kinnison is like 85, 86 he pops. So you got to think of that. Like that's when people change what they thought of as comedy. And it's wild when you go back and watch, like I wouldn't tell any of those jokes. And if you were telling those jokes, I'd be like, get rid of that one.
Yeah.
That one sucks. Get rid of it.
Yeah.
Get rid of it.
Yeah.
But it's like.
Yeah, and I'd be like, I thought so. Thank you.
But it's one of those things. It's like back then, I'd be like, those are solid jokes. If we were living in the 80s, we were idiots.
Yeah.
Nobody knew any better.
Yeah.
Like the culture has changed so much, and so many more people contribute into like the conversation about what's good and what sucks and what's what's interesting and what's cliche, and it's such a fucking accelerated time for the change in human culture, and I don't know if we really recognize how accelerated it is. I think it's happening so fast, and it's a part of us while it's happening, so it just seems normal. It's just normal day. But if you go back and look at it over the context of from 1984 to today, holy shit, what a difference. What a monumental difference the world, in the world rather, how much it's changed since 84. I mean, it's not that long ago, man. It's 38 years.
Yep.
It's not 38 years. It's not that long, but it might as well be 1,000. It might as well be from another time. Weird, blurry television images and...
That's how old I am. And that's what's crazy is I feel like...
What year were you born?
84.
Wow.
And I feel like people... I don't know. I just feel like I got to sort of live it all because I remember there being rotary phones, and I remember when this thing, the internet, was starting, and crazy.
Dude,
what
I remember
a wild time.
I remember when VHS tapes came out. That's how old I am.
Wow.
I remember when people couldn't watch TV unless you were at home when the show aired.
Right.
And then they came out with this thing where you could tape things.
Yeah.
And play it back later.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. I mean, I was very young, but I had one of those rock solid big ass TVs that you couldn't do anything with. You needed a dolly or multiple people or whatever.
I remember there were VHS tapes, and then you could hook 2 VCR players together, and you could copy tapes.
Oh, yeah.
So then they came out with a thing that was like a little hole in the back of the tape that wouldn't let you copy it. But then people figured out all you had to do is put a piece of tape over that little hole, and then you can copy it, right? Is that how it worked? Is my memory accurate?
It's like the first copyright protection.
It was like a tab that was removed, right? Oh, you'll never be able to copy now. I'll pull this little piece of plastic out, and you could just duct tape over it, and then it would be good to go. It's almost like there was a little thing, and if it's set into that little hole that it left, it wouldn't record. Look, what am I, a little fucking baby? That thing, that's the little tab. I do remember it. Snap that tab off like a gangster. Fuck you. This thing's done. No one's ever getting in here.
Another one I thought of recently was how cool it was to have a Walkman with a CD in it, and how often those would skip. And how that skip delay, there was 3 second skip delay. You had to either turn it on or off. Lord knows why it just wouldn't automatically be on all the time. Oh, I remember, because it would drain your battery a little bit faster if you had the skip protection on all the time. So you'd really only want to use it if you were working out or whatever. And it would skip all the time. Everything would skip all the time. If you hit any bump, it would skip.
They would skip in your car.
Yeah.
Remember those days?
Yeah.
ESP. It was electronic skip protection, but it
it.
could see the future, so it wasn't fucking.
Yeah. The thing is, they figured out how to make it so that you could play a CD in your car and it won't skip, though. How'd they do that? How'd they do that?
I don't know.
Is it just better reading? Does it hold it in place better?
Yeah.
I would have to, without looking it up, I'd go, yeah, it probably was a more expensive CD player that had stabilization in it.
But I think, do they still make CD players?
Yeah.
That is wild. Who's got CDs laying around?
I was just thinking about that today. You'd have to carry a case, and people would break into cars to steal your
CD case.
CD case.
Yep. Yeah, I remember.
History of music.
You would have the case would be clear plastic, and you'd have the CD cover on one side and the actual CD on the other side. So you could see. Ooh, Bob Seger, Night Moves.
I used to go to the library when I first got out of high school and moved to Los Angeles. I would go to the actual freaking library. I remember getting the Eagles' greatest hits and not knowing much about the Eagles at all and being like, oh, this will be a good get. I remember checking it out because
you could check out music from the library?
Yeah.
You can.
In 2000, 2003, 2004, 2005.
With the right library card, you can get movies, download movies that aren't on Netflix or HBO.
Really?
Yeah.
They're not? Where are they? What are they on?
I don't know.
Independent movies or something?
Or they just don't have the license for them right now, so they're not on there today, but they've been on there. They're just not always on there, and you can have access to them. Same with music. You can download music from the library.
How does it work with things where something is over a certain amount of years old, it doesn't have copyright protection anymore, right?
Very confusing, and it has to do with Disney. He set that shit up.
He did?
Yep. He didn't want people to take over Mickey Mouse because that's kind of like what he took. Those first stories were all public domain stories almost, and then they just added a character and rewrote the story. Like Snow White, no, it's a really, really, really old story, but they did the cartoon version of it. So then in this, before he died, I want to say it's 50s, 60s, got some stuff through Congress that it added 27 years or something. There's like a date. It's like 25, 27 years past the death of the person who was the original copyright holder. And then a couple years later, they added that you could add your child or something like that to be the holder. So then it's 27 years after their death. Very confusing, but that's how Sting got the money for that. All the money from the Puff Daddy song it gets into copyright lawyer stuff. It's very
you know when you see photos of Walt Disney at Disneyland, all of his cigarettes are photoshopped out.
Oh.
So you see him there standing there like this. Wow. In all these pictures, he's sitting around like this, but he's got his two fingers like this, but there's nothing in his hand.
Whoa.
Yeah, because he died from lung cancer.
Oh, wow.
He died from smoking cigarettes.
Damn.
Smoked himself to death.
Wow.
And he wasn't that old either. I want to say he was in his 60s. Yeah. See how his hand? See his hand right there?
Wow.
Yeah, and look at his hand right there. They photoshopped the cigarettes out. He always had a cigarette in his hand.
3 packs a day.
Yeah, man. Homeboy was pumping. He had a lot of energy.
That's pretty much continuous.
Yeah, look at that. Where that finger is. Look at his finger, where the cigarette should be. Wild, right?
Oh.
The finger right there.
Right there.
Look at that.
He always had a cigarette on him. How old was he when he died? I don't think it was that old, man. Oh, Tom Hanks played him?
Yeah.
Look, Tom Hanks just put his fingers together like Disney did, but he didn't have a finger. I didn't have a cigarette in there. Saving Mr. Banks, starring Tom Hanks as Walt Disney. So he was doing... Stop moving.
Sorry.
The two-finger point and the smoking too even made it into Saving Mr. Banks. So Tom Hanks is doing the two-finger pointing like as if he had a cigarette in his hand. But Tom Hanks' character doesn't have a cigarette in his hand. Why would he play Walt Disney and not have a cigarette? If Walt Disney constantly smoked.
Because
why would he have
movies
the
are weird
fingers?
about cigarettes now. It's like an actual warning.
That's so dumb.
That's you talking about it.
What? I was talking about. Oh, yeah.
I wonder who pays for that. You
2014.
think alcohol?
That's hilarious. That's me. I'm in this article.
Wait, what?
It's me. I'm talking about it in 2014.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, you know why? Because I went with my kids, and we realized we have this guy. Shout out to Flander, who was he's not just a guide there; he's like a historian. He knows a lot about Walt Disney and Disney World and all the Disney franchise movies, and he's the one explaining it to me. And he showed me all the photos. He's like, look at his fingers. I was like, whoa. How old was he when he died? See if we can find how he died, but he died from cancer sticks. Bummer.
Yeah, I mean, it is an enjoyable thing, though.
It's what a rush when you don't do it for a while and then you have a cigarette like right before a show. The second cigarette doesn't help though. I've realized that. Like it's one cigarette. It's only one cigarette before a show.
He was 65.
He was 65.
That's pretty good.
1966.
You say that until you're 64.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And then you'd be like, fuck. And then you see this, like, Tim Kennedy had some guy's dad on his Instagram page a few months ago. And he's like, this is my friend's dad. He's 70. Guy was ripped. 70. Six-pack. Looked great. Looked 50. Working out. Like doing like some fucking crazy circuit with those Navy SEAL guys.
Did you see Danny Elfman at Coachella?
No.
Freak musician.
Did you see this?
But
What's
all these
this?
old people racing. This guy's 70. He ran a 13.5-second 100-meter dash.
What?
That's very fast.
Let me see this. Let me see this.
Rick Hansen.
How old are all these
Dan
guys?
Williams.
I don't know how old all
That
of
guy
them
in the
are.
front is 70?
Yeah.
Oh my God, look at him go. Holy shit, dude.
Wow. That's very
Holy-
fast,
Holy shit.
especially for that age.
Holy shit.
That is
60. Okay. Masters 70 and older. Holy fuck.
Is that their age?
Yes.
82?
Yes.
What?
Unbelievable. So you see the results there.
Might be their numbers.
Michael Kish.
Their
No, he's
jersey number.
82. Give him the number.
All right.
It says 70. No, it says he's 70 years old.
Took that from the gun right there.
How long can he do that, man? He might be able to do it in 10 years. Look at that guy flying.
That's crazy.
A lot faster than I could ever run, ever, in my whole life.
How fast do you think you could run one now?
My knee's fucked. I can't really run like that right now until this thing gets better.
We should race.
I have a problem, is that I know that, like, if I kick really hard with this knee, it winds up getting hurt again, and I don't care. When I'm hitting the bag, I don't care. I just want to smash it. I just want to whop. Just the ability to do that is so fun. It's so hard to resist, but I got to resist right now. I've just got some stem cells shot into it, and Ways to Well hooked me up and took care of my knee, and some IV stem cells and some BPC 157, and they're trying to fix whatever's going on there. And it's definitely feeling better. I had a treatment that was only a couple of weeks ago. It's feeling a lot better. So I got to be nice to it. So no running. But I've been doing a lot of stuff with my legs. I can do a lot of stuff that doesn't hurt. I just have to make sure that, like, anything that tweaks it or makes it feel weird, I just got to leave it alone. I think I can get it back to where it was.
Yeah, we went to the gym a couple weeks ago. That was good.
What did we do?
The boxing gym.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Took you to a boxing gym.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy? New skills.
Hell yeah. There's no better workout than that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one. I used to go to Wild Card in Hollywood, and there were times that I threw up in the garbage can. Like, it's just a workout that you get lost in it. And even though it's only, 2 or 3 minute rounds, it's... Whew.
3 minutes when you're hitting mitts hard or hitting a bag hard is a long fucking time. It's a long time if you're pitter-pattering the bag. If you're just going like this. Like, if you watched Floyd Mayweather hit the bag?
Yeah, crazy.
Floyd Mayweather doesn't hit the bag hard most of the time. Most of the time, he just goes like this. But he is continuous. He never stops punching. And then whap, whap. And then he continuously punches like tap, 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 bang, 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 tap, 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 tap. When you watch him do it, it's an unusual rhythm that I never saw before him. Watch how he does this. Look. Give me some volume. Look at this.
How long's he been going?
Don't tell him I beat up.
Yeah,
No, it's BJ. What we tell you, BJ? Only between us.
So he's been doing this he'll do this for like 10, 15 minutes. Like, it's not just like, he doesn't do 3 minute rounds. He'll do as long as he feels like it. But look how he punches. So he gets a lot of touching it. He's not killing the bag. He's just, what he's doing is continuously hitting it. One good thing about a boxing gym, too, is you watch people that actually know what they're doing, and you realize, like, how hard someone can hit you. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
When you watch someone smash a bag or smash pads, and you go, oh, Jesus Christ. You know? And you're in a gym like that gym with real boxers and kickboxers and MMA fighters.
Yeah, I got to watch Manny Pacquiao work out in his prime back then. And
that's amazing.
Holy smokes, so much of it stood out. The speed, the fucking snap. There's just a different thing. But one of the things that really stood out was he was jumping rope, and it looked like, if you looked at his head, it looked like he wasn't leaving the ground. He was like staying in the same spot. And it didn't even look like his feet were leaving the floor. It was such quick, rapid movements that it just looked like his shoes were sort of like vibrating. The only way that you knew that he was jumping the rope was A, it was coming back around, and B, his calf muscles would flare out like that. They were ridiculous. They would just go from, I don't know.
They're huge.
Yeah.
He's known for his legs. And it's interesting because there's so many like athletes like him, Prince Nassim Hamed. There's quite a few guys that are known for having like really ridiculous leg strength. And you realize like, oh, wow, punches come from the legs. Like, that's a big part of it. And the movement, like between him and Nassim Hamed, one of the things they both shared in common is their ability to like cut angles and move so quickly. You know, Manny could just like, like he could zip zap. And a lot of it was his footwork. I mean, his footwork and his leg dexterity. And he was always running hills and always doing jump ropes. I think he's done, right? Did he retire officially? Look at the size of those calves. Jesus Christ. To have calves like that is, that is a massive benefit. because to be able to move quickly and lightly on your feet is everything in a boxing match. To be able to move in and out and move away from things, move side to side. He's a weird guy too in that he's so nice.
Yeah.
Like he's so fucking nice, and yet he's a straight up killer. It's like 8 division world champion at least. So nice.
Yeah.
Such
So
a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah. Nice to everybody.
To everybody, just all smiling and everything like that. But there's a guy who's got a fucking entourage to feed.
Yeah.
Bro. We did a thing with Tosh and I did it for his show. I forget what I did. It's like something like I took him with me to a boxing gym and hung out with Manny Pacquiao, and Manny Pacquiao punched him in the face. Like it was part of the sketch. And he hit him, and Tosh would fall down. I go, you got to hit him harder than that. You got to hit him a little harder. Just actually hit him a little bit, just a little bit. And Tosh is looking at me like, what the fuck? I'm like, you got to let him hit you. So I guess I'm giving him advice. That's Joe with the beard days.
Wow.
I'm telling him how to hold a mouthpiece in his mouth. I don't know what I'm wearing there. I'm wearing some kind of silver suit. Here it goes. I mean, he's just touching him too. I think that's probably the second time he hit him. We had him hit him a little harder. Tosh is he's a sport. He went in there and troopered it out, took one for the team. But it was his idea, not mine.
Wow.
Yeah.
Balls.
Yeah. Fuck getting punched by that guy. I think he's done though, right? Isn't Manny Pacquiao retired?
I think so. I think so.
think he
But I
reti-
mean, all these boxers, I mean, they're just always one payday away from a return.
Well, it's that, and it's also, I think.
He's trying to be president right now, so.
President of the Philippines.
Temporary retirement.
Listen, they might do something to him. Be careful, bro. Philippines don't play. You know? If he wanted to keep fighting, though, what's going on today with athletes, as long as they're not testing them, you can get away with a lot of wild shit. And there's always been like shenanigans with certain boxing matches, like what they test and what they don't, whether they bring in VADA or whether they just sort of fucking fly in under the radar and try to piss clean the day of the fight and who's in whose pocket and what's, because it's
Crazy.
like you can get away with competing way later if you're doing things.
Who was the guy that cemented his gloves against
Margarito.
Yeah.
Yeah, he against Miguel Cotto.
Yeah.
He fucked Miguel Cotto up, and then Sugar Shane Mosley's team caught something in his gloves, caught something in his wraps when they were backstage, and they found that he was putting like plaster of Paris inside his wraps. So what that means is like where his wraps are, he had coated in plaster. So then you would add water to it, and then it would harden. So from the time he gets his hands wrapped to the time he goes out there, he's got a hard sheath over his knuckles, like a plaster sheath. So he's got the wraps, and he's got whatever this plaster-like material. Tell me what that material was. Was it?
It was this says it was a plaster of Paris powder that once got water on it or sweat, it would harden up.
So he would do that and then get it wet and then fuck people up like he had bricks in his hands. He fucked people up, man.
Yeah.
That kind of power it's so rare to have that kind of power, but some guys actually do. Like Deontay Wilder actually has that kind of bricks in your hand power. And it's such a big advantage. And if you have bricks in your hand power, like Margarito has power, and on top of that, he's put plaster all over his knuckles.
Yeah.
He's just brutalizing people. And then Sugar Shane found out about it. His team found out about it before the fight. So he went out there with regular gloves on and regular wraps, thinking he was going to be able to fight Sugar Shane and cheat.
I'm pretty sure
And Sugar Shane fucked him up.
Yeah.
Sugar Shane fucked him up. He fucked him up so bad that Margarita had to get eyeball surgery.
Yep.
And after that, Margarita's like one eye was like never the same. It was like questionable whether or not he should have been allowed to fight.
Yep.
I believe I think he had an artificial retina put in. I think it was one of those deals, which is wild, man. They do that now. I was watching a commercial about that online where this guy was replacing people's retinas with an artificial retina and that you could see, like glasses. It's like they just cut yours out and put a new one in. I was like, what? But the thing about it is, they were saying that you might get haloing at night. Like, I know a guy who had LASIK surgery, and he can't drive at night.
What happens?
He had a problem. He had a rare but prevalent I mean, I don't know if it's prevalent. A rare, but it's one of the side effects of LASIK is haloing. Whereas if you see lights at night, the lights, you don't just see the light, you see like a halo around the light. And that halo around the light obscures things that you might not be able to see, like as you're driving. So he can't drive at night.
That's got to suck.
It's got to suck.
Yeah.
Find out about that, like haloing under LASIK. I mean, maybe he got it a long time ago, and maybe it's maybe the new way's better. Ari got LASIK.
Really?
And then his eyes got worse.
Oh.
Because he got older. So his eyes kept getting worse. So it was fixed for a while.
But knowing Ari, he probably got the cheapest LASIK.
This is
he could
bullshit. I had a fucking Groupon.
I paid $25 for the LASIK.
Yes, eye glare and halos are a common issue that patients experience after they receive LASIK surgery. In fact, glare after LASIK is an extremely frequent side effect that you might have to deal with following this procedure. In the event that you see different kinds of halos and glares following LASIK, you should know that this is normal. You might also see glare taking the shape of starbursts. Starbursts are not a ring surrounding lights like the more common forms of glare. Starbursts look more like a glow that disperses itself around the light instead. So that kind of shit is not good. That's fucking terrible. Like, why do they appear? Okay. We'll create a flap in the uppermost. So this is a LASIK's vision website where they're trying to sell you LASIKs. We'll create a flap in the uppermost portion of your cornea when we perform LASIK surgery. The uppermost portion of your cornea is the epithelium. We'll lift up this flap so that we can adjust the entire contour of your cornea using a surgical laser after we make the epithelial flap. Once we have finished altering the shape of your cornea, we put the epithelial flap back down. Your eyes need some time to adapt to the new shape of your cornea after we make the epithelial flap and put it back down. If you see halos near bright lights, this is simply a step in your eye's healing process. You may also see halos close to bright objects as your eyes go through the process of healing and adjusting to your cornea's new shape. Well, for my friend, he didn't start off getting he got it later. You know that halos are a type of glare in vision that temporarily changes your vision following LASIK. You will see halos primarily at night after LASIK. Halos are usually more common in low light conditions, and they look like bright circles surrounding sources of light like street lights and headlights. Even though we commonly call halos a side effect of LASIK, they are not exactly a side effect as we usually use that term. Instead, halos are a normal sign that your eyes have started recovering. That's not what my friend is having. My friend had it years and years ago, and he's recently developed halos. So I don't know.
It's crazy.
Not
the side
good.
effects on things are insane.
The fact that that's a big deal. That means you can't drive at night. That's a giant deal.
Yeah.
Like if you had a choice between wear glasses or not drive at night, I would say I'm going to wear glasses.
Yeah.
The fuck you talking about?
Yeah.
Not drive at night.
It's fun driving at night.
It's no big deal, bro. Just take Ubers, and everywhere you go, be psychedelic. All the lights would be like glowing, and imagine going to Vegas if you halo, like everywhere you go. Like,
Oh no!
You're outside in the neon. Oh, everything's got a halo around it. What does that look like? Do they have an image, like a representation of what LASIK halos look like to someone who is suffering from them? I want to see that. There's eye drops that my doctor gave me to try. He's like, try these out. I go, what are they? He's like, look at that's what it looks like.
Whoa.
So these folks can't see shit. Like, and that's just those headlights, right? As they get closer and they take up your entire field of vision, like it's going to obscure some of the things you're seeing. I wonder if they make glasses that limit the halo effect. That would be ironic.
Yeah, I bet they're.
Wouldn't that be ironic?
Sunglasses, I think.
Yeah.
You have to wear glasses to eliminate the halo, like yellow glasses, like Hunter Thompson type glasses.
Yeah, there's got to be glasses.
Do they make it?
They make glasses to see golf balls on
right,
golf,
but
on the
see
field, so.
see if they do that. glasses to remove halos. Because if they do that, well, then you go, well, that's not that big a deal. You just wear your halo glasses when you drive at night. What do you think? Think they do?
I mean, I don't think it doesn't. Maybe just regular sunglasses would help, right? Because if it's not bright.
Find out for us, young Jamie.
So I'm trying. It seems like polarized
Seems like,
lenses.
yeah, it seems like polarized lenses or something like that. Dude, polarized lenses are great. You ever use those when you go fishing?
Mm-mm.
Oh, it's great. They cut out all the glare. You can see in the water. You see where the fish are.
Really?
Yeah, you lift them up and you don't see shit. You put them on, you see the shadows of the fish swimming around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're pretty dope.
Seems like that would help a lot.
Oh, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those
it's a
golf
big deal.
glasses I was looking, I'm about to buy for the same purpose. Once you're out there, you can't see your ball a lot of the time.
I forgot you guys are competitive. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Jamie's been whacking that ball, son.
Yeah.
Jamie's got a spooky drive.
But what Jamie knows is that it's not exactly a test of strength. I mean, he can hit the ball very hard and very far.
Does it make you jealous?
No.
It should.
No, because
It should
we're
make
not
you, it makes
talking
me
about.
jealous.
We're not.
And I don't even play golf.
A big part of the game, Joe, is where you hit the ball.
Yeah, you can get to that eventually.
Exactly.
But
It's
right
like
now,
if somebody kicked really hard, but they didn't kick you.
yeah, but no.
The smile just went off.
What
at
he's
Jamie's
saying,
face.
what he's saying is how I approach martial arts. I learned how to kick hard first, and then I learned how to kick people.
Kick hard first, then you figure out where to kick them.
Well, you kick hard first and kick fast, and then it's about closing distance and feinting. And
Golf's
set
a little bit
setups.
different.
No, it's less complicated. Kicking someone's way more complicated than the ball that doesn't move. Shut the fuck up. Don't ever say that.
I mean,
there's not a chance in hell that it's easier to hit a golf ball, that it's not easier to hit a golf ball than it is kick somebody. There's not a chance in fucking hell.
You know how smart golfers are and how dumb fighters are?
That's
you
not true.
know.
You don't know what you're talking about. What I'm saying is, it's super difficult to kick someone. It's super easy to hit a golf ball. Whether you hit a golf ball perfectly, that's a different story.
How
Whether you
what
hit
do you
it,
mean it's easy to hit a golf
because it's right
ball?
there. It's not moving anywhere. It's right there.
Well, neither is the bag that you're kicking.
We're talking about a person, kicking a person. That's what we're talking about. That's what you're saying, like fighters are dumb. Like, to be able to close the
I
distance
don't think
and land.
fighters are dumb. I'm just
Said
saying
it.
that no,
heard him say
they're
it.
dumb compared to
Did you hear him
golfers.
say it?
He said dumb fighters, not all
Do you
fighters are dumb.
you don't think the Stylebender is smarter than John Daly? You're out of your fucking mind.
I mean,
You're out of your fucking mind.
they're both.
At
No,
what?
that's a tough one.
I bet he could survive a night partying better than Stylebender.
Well, of course, Stylebender's healthy.
I mean, that's not a diss to Stylebender. I'm just saying John Daly's all there. He's got a lot of great stories. Very funny guy.
I'm
very
sure.
present.
I'm sure.
Zero brain damage. A lot of liver damage.
No hangovers.
Doesn't feel hangovers
Ever?
ever.
How's that possible?
That's what he said. I was going to show you the video earlier. That's what he's got. He's a professional.
He
Isn't it amazing
he
that
avoids sugar.
you can be a full-on alcoholic and excel at golf? Doesn't that throw your fucking idea of intelligence and strategy and all that away? Like, you don't even have to have control of your body. You can be an alcoholic. and you
Okay,
can
the
run
greatest
that game.
fighter of all time is John Jones. I rest my case.
Yeah, but John Jones never showed up high. You don't think?
You're so funny right now. This is like our pro wrestling talks. When you take a stand on something, you will say the craziest
Listen, Nick
stuff.
Diaz has shown up and fought high. When he fought Gomi, he was high. They suspended him for a long time. He tested positive, like through the roof of his marijuana levels. Like when he fought Gomi, he was high. He got Gomi in a gogo plata, which is a crazy move to pull off in MMA. Super fucking rare. If you watch how he sets it up, he gets hit by Gomi. I think Gomi even fractured his cheek. He goes into the guard. Gomi was a fucking powerful puncher because Gomi would throw punches the way a fastball, like a pitcher would throw a fastball, because he was a baseball player. So Gomi had like that whip from throwing baseball rather. Did I say basketball? I said baseball, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you would throw a fastball, and he would apply that whip to punching. And he cracked Nick and had this big fucking cut on his cheeks. Cheeks swole up, and they went to the ground, and Nick wrapped him up in a gogo plata, and put his arm trapped in one leg, shin underneath the neck, and then Gable grips behind the neck and pulls down on it. It's death. It's a crazy move to get somebody in the first place. Even crazier when you're high as fuck. And he was fighting high.
Yeah.
Wasn't that sort of the same thing?
John Jones to Cormier. I beat you after a weekend of cocaine.
the double champ.
Well, that was the week before. He said a weekend of cocaine. He didn't beat him after. He didn't like do cocaine that week. He did it the week before the fight. And on top of that, he wasn't fighting on coke. Nick Diaz was fighting high. John parties a lot.
Yeah.
But if you look at John without a shirt off and you look at John Daly without a shirt off, you're not making any confusion.
I mean, yes, if we're having a beauty pageant,
No. If you want to decide, hey, one of these guys is an athlete and one of these guys plays a game drunk, which one do you think it is?
Yeah, you got me there.
I mean, I don't think that he's not awesome at golf. He's a fucking amazing golf player. There's no doubt about it. I've watched videos of John Daly play. He's incredible. I think it's just amazing that a guy could be like known for being addicted to essentially a drug and just on it all the time and plays on it. Smokes cigarettes and
Drinks
and
Coca-Cola.
Drinks Diet Coke, like 16 Diet Cokes a day.
Yeah.
But, there's been pool players like that too. Like Steve Miserak before he died. Steve Miserak was an enormous guy, and he was like one of the best players in the world. He was way overweight. There's another guy, Buddy Hall, who's also like one of the best players of all time. He's one of the best players of all time, and in his early days, according to his book, I've got a rare copy of his book, The Rifleman, and his it's like Rags to Riches, The Rifleman. I forget what it was. It's an old book that was like self-published. So it's like the font size is one size on one page and smaller on the next page. It's totally janky, but it's a dope book. It's like a cool book to own because it's rare. It's hard to find them. Like they sell them on forums and shit. They're real expensive. But back in the early days, is this John Daly?
Yeah, but he's got a case of beer on his cart with him.
Yeah, I like you better than him. I like your swing better.
Well,
I like the case of beer though.
His swing's pretty fucking
Light
good.
beer. So he's hanging out. Him and Shane Gillis. They're cut from the same cloth.
Yes.
Yeah.
They really are.
Big drinkers. Shane Gillis on the podcast, 15 Miller Lights.
Yep.
Bud Lights. 15 Bud Lights.
Yeah, he did 11 on Kill Tony, which
What
is
an
only
animal.
an hour and 45 minutes. So
What a fucking
I
animal.
think his drink per minute time's even higher.
But meanwhile he's losing weight.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's working out all the time. He sends me pictures of him flexing. He looks good.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, he's hired a fucking trainer. He got inspired. Something clicked in him. He got inspired.
I love it.
I'm worried about him.
Why?
Because that's a lot. You're drinking 15 beers in a 3-hour podcast. Like, holy fuck, dude.
I mean, we were with Stanhope
Look at
last
him.
night.
Look at him. Looks good. That's one of the funniest men alive right there.
No doubt.
One of the funniest men alive. When I worked with him in Irvine, I finally got to watch his whole set when me, him, and Monty Franklin did Irvine. God damn, he killed me. Monty was very funny too. But I had seen Monty before. I had never seen Shane do it like a full set. It was fucking great. His Trump is off the charts. That Trump impression is so good.
Yeah.
It's the best because he's got great lines, like great stand-up comic lines with an amazing impression. So you can't stop laughing.
He's the best.
It's a good time for comedy, buddy.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Yeah.
It's a good time. Shout out to our boy Hans Kim because Hans Kim went up in front of a fucking arena. This kid's he was homeless 2 years ago. Gets on Kill Tony.
He was living in his van 4 to 6 months ago.
Lived in his van 4 to 6 months ago. Gets on Kill Tony. Becomes a regular on Kill Tony. Shows incredible work ethic, like we were talking about before. Just putting in the time and the effort. Who puts in the time and effort more than Hans?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Sometimes I'll look over my shoulder to see what he's doing on his phone, and he's always on a spreadsheet.
Going over bits.
Staring at jokes, rewriting jokes, taking out a word, adding a word.
It's a fucking animal.
He's not doing anything else.
No bullshit.
Yeah.
He's an animal.
Yep.
And murdering on stage, man.
Yeah,
Murdered
he's
in
coming
Colorado.
for everybody's jobs. He's there. He's doing everything that we talked earlier about, which is obsessing hours a day, being a crazy person, and he loves it. He lives for it.
So Duncan did Colorado with us, and then after Colorado, Duncan, came to my house. We were all hanging out, and he was like, dude, I'm so inspired now. I'm so ready. He goes, I needed those shows. I needed to see, like, first of all, I needed to see you guys. You're tight, and you guys have been doing stand-up, like, so much. And he goes, and I'm, like, trimming the fat off this, and now I'm excited. I want to write more. I want to perform more. He's like, God, it feels so good. He goes, it's so exciting. And he's moving to Austin.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to have Duncan here, too. What a fucking lineup we're going to have, buddy.
It's crazy.
Come on, man.
It's literally the dream lineup.
Ron White. Maybe we could talk Roseanne into it.
She's coming.
I told Stan I would buy an apartment for him. I go, come here. Just come here. Come here whenever you want. I'll get you an apartment.
Yeah.
Joey Diaz is going to come on a regular basis. We're going to do, that's something we're doing that tickets just went on sale for. Atlantic City. Friday and Saturday, June 3rd and 4th. Joey Diaz, Tony Hinchcliffe, and me. We're at the Hard Rock, right? Is that what it is? It's like a new arena. New arena at the Hard Rock in Atlantic City. Whoa, that's going to be fun. And, yeah, we got Joey back on stage again. This is all cool. So exciting. It's so fun, man. The beautiful thing about having something almost taken away from you, like the way everybody felt about stand-up, is that when it comes back, you're so excited and invigorated. Like last night, I was so excited.
Yeah.
I was so excited to go on stage. I couldn't wait. I mean, we had such a lineup last night. Hans Kim, Doug Stanhope, Roseanne Barr, Ron White, you and me. I mean, the show's 5 assassins deep before I ever even get on stage.
Yeah. That's a crazy lineup anywhere.
Amazing.
That's a crazy lineup anywhere.
I think we have the best crowds.
Yeah.
They're the best crowds. They're so fun. They're so enthusiastic. It's all word of mouth.
Doesn't have that weird LA, New York, we're judging you vibe. It's we came out to have fun.
Came out to have fun. Yeah, they're not coming out because they're in the industry. You know, there's people that will sit in the crowd in LA and you know they wanted to be an actor or they think they're going to be on a reality show and there's so much ego.
Yeah.
There's so much, but it's not, I mean, everybody has ego, but it's like, it's not just ego. It's like there's like a clout chasing, statusy fucking thing to it. Like, who's the coolest guy in the room? You know, those like people that go in, they'll look for like cool people and they're barely talking to you and then they walk away from you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, okay.
Right.
Ew. Like, nobody does that here. Here they just talk.
Yep.
It's like normal. That machine that comedy has been connected to for so long has ruined so many potential great comics because it's turned them into like some sitcom-y person.
Yep, watered down, cleaner version of their funniest self.
Not just cleaner, but like censored.
Right.
Certain subjects are not worth discussing. It's too hard. I mean, think about some of your best bits.
Yeah.
There's subjects that people don't want to fuck with at all.
Right.
Like there's certain comedians, if you fuck with those subjects at all, you will get banned from television shows. Nobody will want to work with you. Nobody will want to have anything to do with you.
That's why I love it being my bread and butter.
Yeah.
It's so fun.
There's a market for it, buddy.
I was going to say, and the market's
right here.
Swinging around.
Me.
Yeah.
I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I want to watch it. If I was an audience member, that's what I want to see.
Yeah.
I don't want to. You don't have to be espousing your every virtue and political belief on stage. You can lie if it's funny. Say something funny that's not true. I'm just trying to laugh.
Right.
Like, I can get my intellectual discourse out in other forms. I don't need it in my comedy. My comedy, I just need funny. I mean, if it's brilliant and creative funny, great. But if it's brilliant but not funny, you might want to tighten up that bitch.
Right.
Might want to throw little jokes in there.
Yeah. Last night was fun because I just got to ride that crazy wave that was in the room, the energy, and that's a lot of it.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome. It was awesome.
Hans Kim always starts it off crazy, but that was insane.
Yeah, well, he's a great guy to get it started off too because he's so structured. He gets you into a rhythm very quickly where you're laughing. Set up punchline. They're all like really good, funny. There's no fat in his material. Economy of words is excellent. It's just it's cool to see comedy outside of any other system. Just comedy by itself. It's comedy supported by just live comedy. Like, that's where it's at its best. It's when it's connected to all those other things, like your potential to do other shows or agents' opinions or managers' opinions. Like, that's one of the things that we were going over this weekend was like opinions that people have given guys like Duncan or you or, And just terrible ideas that they've given you, like what you should be doing with your career,
Right.
and where you're messing up, and that those things that told you not to do wind up being the best things you ever do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to be untethered from the system, you know.
I feel bad for a lot of the people that I started with. They never changed their like goals. When I started, I was like part of the last group of being on the Tonight Show, and getting a Comedy Central half hour is the ultimate. Like obviously a 1 hour HBO special, but those weren't even really being given out. Comedy Central 1 hour specials the top, but people were still striving to be on Conan or the Tonight Show when I very first started. And that is a specific kind of set, as we just saw when we tried to watch Todd Bergen, whatever, right?
Teddy Bergeron.
Yeah, Teddy Bergeron. That was like, a lot of setup, very like odd
It's all
segues.
1984. He had some really good bits. That just wasn't it. That wasn't a good set.
But my point is like a lot of the people that I started with got good at those types of sets, censored TV sets.
Yeah.
And it's just safe. You could see it on TV. So
But
why
there's
would
some
people buy
guys that
tickets?
are great at that, like Brian Regan, who has that kind of everything safe on television, but it's brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's hilarious. Or Jim Gaffigan, same deal.
Right.
All safe for television, but brilliant.
Right.
Yeah.
And then after those two, which we all name when these come up, there is a long drop off.
Who else is out there that's like super squeaky clean that's really good? Who else? In that vein, I would say they're the two guys. Brian Regan and Gaffigan are the two guys. They are the squeaky guys that murder. Well, actually, no, you got to say Sebastian too.
That's who I was thinking.
Yeah, you got to factor in Sebastian, because Sebastian's squeaky clean and he murders. Like Sebastian, you could bring your grandmother, you could bring your uncle, you could bring your dad, you could bring anybody. Like, and if you're on the East Coast, that fucking guy's killing it. He sold out 4 shows in Madison Square Garden. That's just preposterous. Like, what? What? That's outrageous.
He's so cool.
He's very cool. And that's about it.
Yeah.
Who else? Name another one.
Nate Bargatze.
Oh, Nate
He's
Bargatze.
pretty clean, right?
I mean, Nate is hilarious. Very clean. That's good. Good catch. Nate, that's about it.
Yeah, I was trying to dig.
Is that it? Are we done?
I literally can't think of it.
There's a few wizards. But the thing is, like, Nate and Gaffigan, if you talk to them off stage, they have the same sense of humor off stage. Like, it's that sort of dry, like, hilarious, but clean that view of things that's very funny. There's not a lot of those guys. Yeah.
Was Dane Cook was clean, I guess, right?
No, he had swears.
Yeah.
He swore. Yeah, he definitely had sex material. He had swears. He was just regular. There's not a lot of guys that commit to that completely clean thing, you know? Jay Leno is a great example. Someone who's like completely clean.
Fluffy?
Oh, yeah, Gabriel's, super clean. Gabriel, who fucking sells out more than him? He sells out Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
Twice.
Oh, my God.
And it's not like he's not around L.A. all the time as well, you know? Do you know Fluffy has like a whole garage filled with VW bugs?
No.
Yeah, he doesn't collect cars. He collects one kind of car over and over and over and over again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. It's the weirdest thing to collect. He has a whole warehouse filled with these reconditioned VW bugs. Look at this. How incredible is that? Like, why would he have so many of these bugs? I don't get it. Like, what is it about this one particular... Oh, he's got a nice Firebird, too. But it's weird. $3 million VW bus collection. What the fuck, man? How weird is that? How many VW buses he has? Come on.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wonder if they're different.
Bro, that's bizarre as fuck. He's got a whole warehouse filled with VW buses. Like, look at his warehouse. That warehouse is fucking dope. Look how crazy that is. Look, the Fluffy Museum. Oh, my God. So he's got a massive-ass warehouse filled with like artwork and shit. What is he saying about those paintings? Give me some volume on this.
This fluffy museum to resemble the personal favorite buses.
Volkswagen buses because I don't have a cocaine problem and I needed somewhere to spend the money, honestly. I talked to Jay Leno and Jay told me, he says, you know what? He says, people are gonna tell you to invest your money certain ways. He goes, but with me, he goes, I like the cars because first of all, if they're classic, it is an investment. It's an investment you can enjoy. So you can drive them and when you sell them, they'll be worth more. Each one of these is valued somewhere between 1 to 200,000. Now, I have no intention of selling, but at the end of the day, as soon as I'm gone, and when I mean gone, this is going to be turned into a museum for the city of Long Beach.
Wow. I like that Firebird, too. I need to get one of those and grow me a Burt Reynolds mustache.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dye it black. Maybe get a toupee.
Whoa.
Maybe a cowboy hat.
Let's do it.
I'm ready. You see a Firebird, you want to be fucking Burt Reynolds. Like that fire. Look at that Firebird. You want a classic, though.
Oh, it's signed by Burt Reynolds.
Oh, wow. There it is. That's me. I need that look.
That's how I feel when I put on my cowboy
That seems
hat.
like a conversion. I don't... Look at that thing. That's a real one. I think that might be a conversion. See what it says. I have a feeling that that is a new... See what it says, like, right there. Give me some volume.
We sent the black Camaro over to our friends at Trans Am
Yeah,
Depot
that's
over
what it
in
is.
Florida. In about 6 months, they turned that black Camaro into this beautiful thing of art. I am so scared to drive this car. Unfortunately, as soon as Burt Reynolds passed away, the value of this thing went through the roof. And yeah, if I scuff it at Starbucks, I'm gonna cry.
That's a Camaro. It's a modern Camaro that they redid to make it look like a Pontiac Firebird. Because the Pontiac doesn't exist anymore, and Pontiac was a GM car. So like if you go back to like 1968, the Pontiac Firebird shared in common a lot of parts with the Camaro of that year. Like if you looked at them, it's very similar body shape. They just had a little bit of a difference in the rear taillight assembly and a little bit of difference in the grille and the front bumper and all that jazz and the hood. But a Firebird and a Camaro were almost interchangeable. So with this new one, they take it, since Pontiac doesn't exist anymore, they take it and they send it to a company and the company converts it. That's why I was looking at that. I'm like, that thing looks too modern.
It was his first car.
1968 Volkswagen Transporter that served as his first car when he was 17 years old. That's amazing.
He's got 80 of them now. Or
That's
over 80.
crazy. 80 VW Bugs. The problem with those is you need a specific motherfucker to buy those.
Yeah.
You know, you buy a bunch of Corvettes, everybody wants a Corvette.
Right.
You buy a bunch of those things and people go, yeah, it's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
And if you're going to get one, why would you get a expensive one?
But you know what that shows me? That Fluffy doesn't give a fuck. Because
Right.
he's not trying to impress anybody with his VW Bugs. He likes them. He's buying them because he likes them.
Mm-hmm.
You
It's
know?
a way to make sure your business manager doesn't steal your money.
Invest in Bugs.
Yep.
You got to sell those, though, dude. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's easy to sell them. But maybe it's not easy to sell 80 of them.
There's a sweet Trans Am he's got.
Yeah, so that's a real one. That looks like a real Trans Am to me. The one to the right, that's a Charger. The one in front's a Challenger. That Trans Am to the right lower corner where you only see the front fender, that's the conversion one. So that's basically the only one that's like really drives well and handles well. Because it handles like modern Camaros. They make a modern Camaro. I think, what is it? The LT1, I think is their killer Camaro. They make a modern Camaro with 600 plus horsepower. It's fucking preposterous.
Do you know why they call it a Trans Am?
It's a type of race. It's like a car that was, it's a model named after a type of car for racing, I believe. I think it's like a Trans Am race. What is it? Because there's IROC, right? International Race of Champions was an IROC Trans Am. That was a type of Trans Am that was like all the Guidos had back when I lived in Boston. Guys who had an IROC, like, oh, he's the shit. Look at, he's got his IROC. It sounded good when they pulled up. Vroom, vroom. They were the bomb diggity back then.
Yeah, I don't know much about cars. I just know that I'm now obsessed with Corvettes.
Well, you have a C8, which is the absolute best Corvette that's ever been made. The new Corvette is a fucking masterpiece. It's so good, dude.
It brings me so much joy on a daily basis that it's crazy.
I can imagine. I love your car. I'm so happy you got it. I like to sit in it and just fucking the way they have contoured that dashboard and have this panel to the right with all the buttons on it, and then you're holding that steering wheel, you're locked into it. I'm like, my God, this thing is good.
Legit race style, like rectangle wheel, whatever that's called.
They should make it in a 6-speed manual though. They should have a few of those as an option, Corvette. Just please. I know it's not as fast 0 to 60, but we're not in a race. It's about enjoyment. And for someone like me who loves a manual transmission, the enjoyment of a manual transmission is so much better than just paddle shifts and just or keeping it in drive and just driving around. I mean, sure, that's better in terms of like speed and efficiency, but part of what's fun about a vehicle is your engagement with it. You know, you're shifting, it's putting that clutch in and
The new
pushing
super
forward.
added manual.
Ooh, but only with a 6-cylinder engine. What is the other engine? A 4-cylinder? Must be, right?
I saw that and clicked on it so you get that info, but yeah.
Oh boy, that's good. Good for them. That's smart because they want to make something that's exciting. The new Z car, I don't know what number they're calling the new Z car, but the new Z car comes in a manual. These fucking guys that make these cars, look, I know you want to make them the fastest 0 to 60, but you also want to make it fun to drive. And fun to drive for a lot of people like myself is manual. Manuals are more fun. It's like quite a bit more fun. When I drive my Chevelle and I'm driving that thing, I'm shifting. I feel like I'm in a fucking movie. That shifting of the gears yourself. It's like, so exciting. So exciting. You know?
Yeah, I can live without it. It keeps me. I like both hands on the wheel and hitting the gas and focusing solely on not spinning out.
That's good too.
Yeah.
Well, your car is also supremely balanced.
Yep.
Like when you open up that back trunk, you see that engine sitting right there behind the passenger, or behind the driver rather, like right in front of the back wheels. Like, wow.
Total game changer. Our buddy got us good because he knew I was going to buy that.
Oh yeah, well you should. Corvette ZR1 could pack 850 horsepower from twin turbo V8. I'll do you one better. They have an electric hybrid 4-wheel drive Corvette coming out. Yeah. It's going to be electric hybrid 4-wheel drive Corvette.
Electric.
They've been practicing in the snow. It's a hybrid, like the new NSX. The new NSX has a combustion engine that's very powerful. And then on top of that, it has electric engines that add instantaneous acceleration to the wheels. Electric Corvette confirmed. Hybrid arriving in 2023. And this, they don't know exactly what's going on because they're just seeing like test mules run. But one thing they know about these test mules is that they're spinning off the front tires. So they're watching them drive in snow and shit and spinning off the front tires, unless there's been more information that's leaked. But that's clear. I don't know why they cover it up with the design, like they camouflage it, because we already know what the regular one looks like now. Like before, when we didn't know what it looked like, it made sense that they were covering it up. Let me see what the pictures look like. They're fake covered up pictures. So it's wider. It looks like, see the fenders, how they're flared out? See, like with the rear fender and the front fender, how it looks like they're more bulbous? It's because they go out further sideways, which means it's got a wider track, so it has wider tires on it. I bet it's going to be a fucking monster. Because that platform that they're building it on, that platform is so good. They did a drag race with a C8 Corvette. See if you can find this. C8 Corvette versus Shelby GT500. Now, a Shelby GT500 has 700 plus horsepower. The Corvette has 495. The Corvette's faster.
Ooh, I like that.
Isn't that wild?
It feels like it.
It's weight. It's because it's a fiberglass car. It's weight. It's fairly lightweight. It's also the distribution of the weight is right over the rear wheels. It's in the center, right? But it's good. So it gets plenty of traction. It's one of the things that makes Porsches move so fast is their weight. The engine weight is right over the rear wheels. That's a rear engine car. The Corvette is even more balanced than that. The Corvette's a mid-engine car, like the Cayman. Like the Cayman is probably the best balanced out of the Porsches, but they make it a little bit underpowered because the 911's their bread and butter. That's like the classic iconic vehicle.
Yeah, I rented a car in LA when we were there a few weeks ago for the weekend, and I realized that I feel so much safer in my Corvette. Being able to have the ability to accelerate out of a problem it feels like twice as much as just being able to brake. You know what I mean?
You need both.
Yeah.
But you could definitely avoid things. Your car's nimble.
Yes.
Yeah, and that means a lot if you can get away from some shit that's going down. Because if you're in a truck, like a big, heavy, wobbly truck, and you have to turn fast, you're fucked.
Yeah.
You know? You're in one of those cars, you might be able to avoid something that somebody might not be.
I don't know if there's one you were looking for, but I found a few. There's one on Hennessy's page.
Oh, well, the thing about Hennessy, is Hennessy doing it? Because he takes that Corvette, the regular Corvette, and wait for it, ready? Makes the motherfucker 1,000 horsepower.
Oh.
Yeah. Imagine your car, but 1,000 horsepower. Look how fast that Corvette is going. And one of the reasons is because the tires don't hook up that quick on the GT500 because it doesn't have the weight in the back. And I used to say, well, at least the GT500, you get it a stick shift, but you can't even get it in a stick shift anymore. Everything is moving to fucking stupid automatics. Everything. But the C8's just a superior car. Superior looks, superior design, superior handling. It's the best Corvette of all time.
And bonus, if you're a golfer, it literally fits a golf bag perfectly in the back trunk. The front trunk I use for everything. There's nothing more fun than popping the hood and pulling out a gym bag and going to work out or whatever. But the back, specifically the back slot, so you see your engine that you just drove 25 minutes to a golf course, and you can sort of feel the heat if you drive like a maniac like I like to drive out here on these Texas lawless streets.
It's right behind you. You feel it right behind you.
And when you crack open that trunk, you feel the heat of the engine, and it's just enough for literally a golf bag. Like, it is that size.
Do you want to go to a racetrack with that car?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. I could set that up.
What?
I know a guy.
Okay, sweet.
Yeah, I know a guy. We could set up some hot laps and do some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tommy's done it out here a bunch. You know, Tommy's a freak for cars. Tommy has I don't know, is he talking about? I'm telling him, anybody. I was going to say, I don't know if he keeps this a secret, but he bought a Cayman, and he had it sent down to this place in Florida that converts it into 560 horsepower. So it's a manual transmission, 560 horsepower Cayman, and it's a fucking demon. He brought it to my house, and just the sound of it, I was like, oh my God, dude, this sounds glorious. It sounded so good. And as he was driving off, I just like cupped my ears and listened. That's what we're going to miss with electric cars. We're going to miss that.
That's the part. I'm not really that pumped about the thought of an electric Corvette.
Have you driven a Tesla before?
Yeah, I just don't see. I don't know.
Listen, my car, you want to have a race?
Yeah, no, I know what you're...
My Tesla that I have out there, that fucking family vehicle, that thing will leave you in the dust.
I know, but it's so quiet and
it's silent.
Lame. It's like a nerd in class. It's like driving an iPhone. You have to charge it. It's just... seems too pure. It seems like too good of a thing.
Too good of a thing.
I like smoking cigarettes and burning oil. Give me a hot cup of coffee. Throw a shot of espresso in that coffee.
Yeah, but if you compare that to like manual transmissions and old muscle cars, then you understand me, because that's what I like. I go all the way. I like cars that are almost like completely just unpractical or impractical, and then a car that's from the future, like my Tesla. I love driving that car. The only thing I don't like is I don't have a fucking horn on the steering wheel. The steering wheel doesn't have a horn in the center. The horn's a button. Apparently for the new ones, they moved the horn to the center. It's the only thing I don't like about it. I can get used to the buttons being the directional changers on buttons. The stock's the best, though. Why fuck with perfection? That stock for changing, like, that way goes left, that way goes right. We've been doing that forever. It's so easy to do. Why would you remove that? But in their infinite wisdom to put everything minimalist and, make everything buttons that's on the steering wheel, they removed everything.
The turning signal?
Is that buttons?
Really?
Yes.
On the Tesla?
Yes.
See what I'm talking about?
That's not good. Not only is it not good, but you don't know if you're hitting the left or the right until you look down. That's what it looks like now. That's what my steering wheel... I'll show you outside. If you want to drive it, though, you'll throw your car in the garbage.
No,
it's so much
I
faster
will
than your
not.
car. It's so much faster than your car,
Well,
it seems like you're time traveling.
I mean, I can't imagine going faster than how fast I already go.
How about twice as fast?
What are you talking about?
That car's twice as fast as your car.
Well, I mean, it can't be twice as fast.
That's what you're saying until you hit the gas.
No, come on, Joe.
I'm telling you. That car goes 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds.
Where can you do that at?
Wherever no one's looking. 60 isn't even violating the speed limit. You
But
can
to
merge
do
onto
that-
an on-ramp. When you merge onto an on-ramp on a highway, you instantaneously go the speed limit.
Going 0 to 60 silently isn't. It's like if a tree falls in the forest. Going to
No.
0 to 60 without
No,
the
it's
sound
not.
of an engine.
No,
Oh.
no, it's not. It's not.
All
It's
right.
not at all. It's like you hit the gas and you go, oh shit, and you go flying. Dude, if you're a passenger, I'll have your shit in your pants.
Yeah. No, you drove me once. We drove from the Hollywood Improv to the
That's
Comedy
old one.
Store.
That's the old one.
Oh.
The new one's even faster.
Are you serious?
A lot faster.
I remember that
dude,
one. I remember specifically the feeling of the back of my head being smushed against the
This
passenger
new one
seat.
is almost a full second faster 0 to 60. Wow. It's so fast. It's about a half a second fast. Well, what is it? The old one I think was 2.5 seconds 0 to 60, something like that. So it's 6/10 of a second faster 0 to 60. Think of that. That's how fast it is. It's insane. It's so fast. It's effortless. Like if you want to go around something, if some shit's going on, you just go, shoo, and you're just there. You're there like instantly. And nothing, it's like you're...
But that doesn't it go like, beep, 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 there's cars in the right lane or something like that? Beep, 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 beep. Seems like it would beep a lot, like a lot of alerts. Because it knows what's going on. My Corvette, it's like, if you want to wrap it around a tree, bro, you're going to have to buy another one.
Is that what it says?
No. It says nothing. It says...
I love your car.
Yeah.
Either way. I love it. I just love that they still make cars like that. I love that, I mean, this is a weird time for cars. Because it's that transition between the combustion engines and the electric engines. Like, they're saying right now that there's some cars, this is the last they're going to offer of a certain car before they go electric. So quite a few cars are just going to fade out or become electric. Like Cadillacs. Cadillac is putting out, they have a 4-door sedan that you can buy that's fast as fuck that has a manual transmission. It's crazy. I'm like, who are you marketing this for? It's weird. It's a weird car. It's, I forget what it's called. Something wing. But it's a preposterous car. Like, it's so strange. It's like fast as an M5. It's 4 doors and has a stick shift and a clutch. You're like, what? What is this? It's weird. What is it called?
Say it again?
Some new Cadillac, 4-door manual transmission supercar.
It's a truck?
No.
Oh.
No. It's a sedan. Blackhawk.
Blackwing.
That's right.
Blackwing.
I was saying wing. Is wing? Black wing?
What does it look like? Is it shaped like a sports car or like a
No.
luxury car?
Like a luxury car.
Wow.
A luxury car that's fast as fuck.
And here's the thing.
And it has 4 doors and a manual transmission.
Here's something that I've noticed lately because, again,
See if you can find a video.
not only did I get a rental in LA, but I also had a borrow car here from the dealership that gave me this Porsche brand new 2022 luxury automobile. And the luxury of the Corvette exceeds the luxury of these luxury cars.
What did you have? What kind of luxury car did you get?
A Porsche,
Taycan? No,
Some-
that's the electric one, right? Look at that thing. That's the new Cadillac. That's a wild looking Cadillac.
that is cool.
It's really fast as fuck too.
They should bring back some of those old ones, though. Those old boat body, those thick boys.
Yeah. Well, the thing about that car, your car, is the suspension is a magnetic adjustable suspension. And so the suspension is attached to a computer, and the computer reads the road. So if the road is fucked up, it smooths out the fucked up parts. And if the road is flat, it stiffens the suspension, so it helps your handling. So as long as when it gets disturbed, I mean, it does calculations, like some insane speed of calculations that recognizes the terrain and the differences of terrain. The magnetic ride suspensions that GM vehicles are using now, the Cadillac uses it, and the Corvette uses an even more sophisticated version, I think.
It's insane. My Corvette if you push the button, it raises the front 5 inches, which is critical everywhere. LA was crazy. Here's really crazy because some of these parking lots, they're just not built properly.
But doesn't it remember?
If you press another button. So really easy right thumb on the wheel thing to remember. So it could be a one-time thing or you press that button again. So like every time I go to my coffee shop, which has a weird lip on the front, it raises all the way and it stays raised until I'm out. And then once you're 40, 60 feet away from your GPS remembered spot, it lowers itself.
Wow.
Yeah, it is the best because it was so annoying that even just the 2019, because it has, it's not, it sounds worse than it is.
The scrape.
It's just plastic, but that scrape would, it just.
You can't be cool pulling in the car when it's scraping.
Not at all. And what I noticed is always like the passenger saying like, oof. Like that's the part that was more annoying because it's like they think that I just did something
Ruined
to my
your
car. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's only a matter of time before all cars are autonomous. I would say it's probably 20 years. I would say within 20 years from now, you're not going to see anybody driving their car on the road unless they're nuts. Unless it's Fluffy driving around one of his fucking VW buses.
Right.
I think most people are going to be driving some sort of an autonomous vehicle. You get in it, you program your directions, and it goes. And we're going to realize that they're safer and going to reduce accidents in an incredible way. Probably going to eliminate them. When you get everybody on the system, and they're all on those things. But you know what freaks me out? When the Ukraine invasion happened, when it first happened, a lot of people were saying that Elon Musk should shut off all the Teslas that are in Ukraine. And I was thinking, like, wait a minute. He could do that? Yeah, of course he could do that. And I was like, ooh, that's not good. It's not good to have someone to have the ability to shut off your fucking car when you're on the highway.
Yeah.
They could just shut it off?
Yeah.
You know, they can do that if you're in a chase in some vehicles. In some vehicles, like I think it's OnStar. It may be, look up this. Does OnStar have the ability to shut off a car if it's being stolen?
They have to.
So if it's not just if it's being stolen, that also means if they're in pursuit of you. So if you're in that CA Corvette and some cops are chasing after you in some fucking shitbox, stupid fucking Ford Explorer, they're going to keep up with you? Ha! Good luck. You're going to be taking quarters like this. You're going to be gone. OnStar's stolen vehicle assistance can help counteract. Okay, here it is. A member has filed a police report, and once authorities have confirmed conditions are appropriate, an OnStar advisor can send a signal to disable the stolen vehicle's engine and gradually slow the vehicle to an idle speed to assist police in recovering the vehicle. Wow. So you have to file a police report. But that's like, how long does that take? So how do they...
And all those high-speed chase videos we've seen, I feel like I've never seen, they're like, oh, and the OnStar got them and the car stopped.
Yeah, they had different cars. But click on that bottom part that said, how do you disable OnStar? See what's...
How do thieves...
So go back onto it. How do thieves disable OnStar? Right there. Search for.
Yeah,
Bottom.
I clicked on it. It's right here.
Oh, sorry. The only way to completely eliminate OnStar is to physically disconnect the module from your vehicle. Other than the OnStar system and its related services, automatic crash response and emergency services, no other system in the vehicle should stop working when you disconnect the module. Oh, well, fucking, I just grab that thing with a pair of pliers and we're good to go. Coppers, see ya.
That OnStar's the shit.
Is it?
Oh my God, when you have to use it and they do it, you're like, wow.
It's great if you lock your keys in your car.
Yep.
They'll just open your car for you. You make a phone call.
Yep.
And they open your keys.
Yep. And you're like, yeah, I'm right here. And they're like, okay. And
Doot,
you hear
doot.
Thoop. You
That's
hear that
nuts.
unlock. It's so cool.
That is so trusting. Big brother, though.
Yeah.
So trusting the man to look over you. So
I never thought about that OnStar thing. So that's in my car for sure. So they already, the thing I'm most worried about with the electric cars being able to shut everything down, they can already do that to me.
What? Well, you grab that module with a pair of pliers and yank that fucker right out of the dash. You don't need your OnStar.
Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I like it.
It's convenient.
I think
That's
the
why
odds
people
of
keep
me
their
locking my
phones.
keys in my car are better than me getting in a police chase.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. No, it's modern conveniences. They're pretty special, but there's something also to no conveniences, you know?
Right.
There's something to just driving old things, old mechanic. Like, I think when you get some cash, as you become a wealthy comedian, you're going to start collecting some cars. I could see you. We're going to have to get you into an old muscle car. What do you think you would look good in? I think you'd look good in a 1969 Corvette.
Ooh, is
You
that
know
what
those
Ron
look
has?
like?
Ron has a Corvette.
No,
that
Ron
is-
has C1. You know mine? I have a C2. So I have a 65. and Ron has I think he has a late 50s. He's a beautiful car.
Yeah, whatever that is.
See if you can find Ron White's Corvette. I'm sure it's
56.
Is it? That's gorgeous.
Whatever that thing is the dream.
Yeah, my friend Casey is working on it right now. He's putting fuel injection in Ron's car. That's it. That's it. That's it right there. Look at that thing. That's so nice. God, that's nice. His has a trunk. You open it up. There's a bar in it.
Yep.
And now you open it up. It just has a bag of dirt with mushrooms growing in it. It's a great car, though. The guy who built it did a fucking fantastic job. Was that someone driving it?
Yeah,
Kurt Busch, a NASCAR driver.
Yeah, NASCAR champion.
Is he going to give it a beat ride, or is he?
Ron in true form with his cigar.
Let's see this. Listen to the sound of that. That's what you can't fuck with an electric car. That echoey, kind of tinny muscle car sound, like that sound. I love that sound. Listen to that. Look at that car, Ron White. God damn it. That's a hell of a car.
One of the coolest humans on planet Earth.
I love him to death.
Mm-hmm.
He's one of those guys that, he's a good poster boy for getting sober.
Yeah, I can't imagine there really being a better one, because that's a guy that we only saw with a drink in his hand forever.
He sells tequila. He's got a tequila company.
Yeah.
#1 tequila. He shells for it after. Shills for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's one of the big reasons why I moved out here. We had so much fun.
Me too.
Yeah.
The way he talked to me about it. But he had moved out here long before the pandemic. He was telling me how great it was. And I was like, really? You love it that much? He goes, well, I'm going to be in L.A. every now and then. I'm going to come and do the store. But, man, it's just a better life for me out here. Because he's a golfer.
Golf and live music.
Yes.
Having the option to go see multiple different types of shows a night is unbelievable.
Yeah.
The bands that we get to see, the
energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good for the soul.
It is, right? And it feels like, I don't know, man. We had a good thing going on in LA, but it feels like better now. It really does. It feels like the only thing that's missing is like guys like Diaz being around on a regular basis.
Right.
But we have enough guys that are around on a regular basis that are really killing it.
Yeah.
That it feels like something special. It's exciting. And you know what else is exciting? Stand Up Live this weekend, ladies and gentlemen, in Phoenix, Arizona. Tony motherfucking Hinchcliffe, William Montgomery. Tickets available. Go to standuplive.com or whatever the fuck it is.
Mm-hmm.
Tony Hinchcliffe on Instagram.
Yep.
Tony Hinchcliffe on Twitter. Look at that. That must be the McVader, right? He did that.
Yep.
It's too good for anybody else.
Yeah, he does all my stuff.
He's a wizard.
Thursday, I'm at the Copper Blues Live, which I guess is in like northern Phoenix or something like that.
Oh, never even heard of that.
Yeah, it's
Nice.
a new club from those guys.
Nice.
Who are the best. That's one of the best clubs in the country, Stand Up Live.
Yes, it's an amazing club. It's a great spot too. It's like set up great. It's a big ass place, man.
Huge.
Yeah. So, I'll probably be there Friday, hang out with you, and Saturday's UFC. You're gonna come for some of the fights.
I'm gonna try. Yeah, I have
Phoenix,
2 shows that night.
Arizona. We'll see you soon. And in Atlantic City, I think there's tickets available for Saturday. I think Friday's gone, but there's some tickets available for Saturday for Atlantic City. We're gonna have some fun with Joey Diaz. Tony Hinchcliffe, I love you. You're the best.
So much fun. Love you too.
Having a good time, man.
Thank you.
We've been
Great
having a
time.
lot of fun.
Hell yeah.
All right. Bye, everybody.